It is.
Your point was college basketball crowns the best team in March and April, which that's right.
Tournament, which is great.
And sometimes
people love it, and they should.
Sometimes that's the best team in the sport that gets crowned. Sometimes it's not.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
You don't know.
And I was just trying to say, like, hey, in college football, we're already down to 12. We don't need the first weekend. Does that make sense? Like, we don't need that.
Yeah, I'm with you.
And by the way, Saturday was evidence of that.
Yep.
Hey, by the way, the NBA, you got to beat a team 4 out of 7 games to advance.
I know.
And there's a reason why, because you may beat them one time to force a fifth or 2 times to force a game 6, but the best team usually wins 4 out of 7 times. It's not a one-off. Michael
Boys,
Jordan.
have a great week and a Merry Christmas. I
We're done.
appreciate you guys.
Yeah, thank you, buddy. Take care. Bye, Klatt. Love you.
We'll not be suckered back into that.
I mean, he was not going to say anything about that. Yeah, we're out.
I mean, he's right about it.
Bye.
There is part of the entertainment factor of the one-off, the upsets, but it does not crown the best champion.
It does not. No, I mean, but it's made for TV. It's a made for TV event, and it's a phenomenal TV event.
Hey, and by the way, college football playoffs, as we expand this further and further, best team may not win this thing.
They may not. I mean, last year a conference champion didn't win it.
Yep.
But I felt like the best team won it. And, I mean, let's just say if
we don't argue that because it's Ohio State.
We never argue it in the NFL either, though.
No,
we don't. But twice the New York Giants were nowhere close to the best team.
Nope.
Twice under Eli Manning.
But you get 60 minutes to prove it.
That's right. But if Alabama or Miami gets hot and wins this thing, you're going to say that was the best team in the country.
Yeah.
Yeah, you will.
You will. You'll say it's the best team in the country. You'll be like, oh, okay, well, I don't know.
Even if Texas Tech.
Yeah, you'll say, I don't know what happened when Miami SMU and Miami Louisville, but that was the best team in the country. I don't know what happened at Alabama Florida State or Alabama Oklahoma or Alabama Georgia, but that was the best team in the country.
I wasn't trying to be a jerk about the Rose Bowl, but you guys were saying every bowl game but the Rose Bowl.
Well,
when y'all were talking about
they stand in the way of a lot of things.
We got to have hard conversations with the peach or with the cotton. Or the orange. Well, the hardest conversation is going to be with the Rose Bowl.
I just don't know how you watch. You were there, Jim, and you watched the Texas A&M game. How do you watch that and say, I tell you, we need less on campus? Those were amazing atmospheres. You're not going to get that in the next round.
We'll eventually get to the 2 rounds of home playoff games.
But the Rose Bowl stands right in the way of that.
But 2 rounds, and then you play the bowl games.
That's fine. That's fine. I think you ought to play all the way up to the championship game on campus, but I will sacrifice just to get more on campus football. College football, here's my only point, Jim. College football, and I think you would agree with me on this, there are no better venues, live venues, than college football, on campus college football. Will you grant me that?
There are some college basketballs, but yeah.
In sports, there are no better overall live venues than college football. Big college football games on campus.
Yeah.
And that sport does everything they can to play off campus. I don't understand it.
That is our Klatt interview. Trash coming up on the other side. The show being brought to you by the wonderful folks at Hemp Hill. Man, thank you to Hemp Hill. From day one, they have been with us here.
Favorite Next Round gear all in one place, nextround.store. From our Next Round hats to the logo tees to the all-time best-selling Y'all Can Have the Rest shirt, you can look your best by shopping with us at nextround.store. Take the next round anywhere with nextround.store.
It's bow time. Tired of choosing between sweet and savory? Why not have both? Introducing Bojangles' new chicken and bowberry waffles. The bold Cajun chicken filet you love, now drizzled with a bowberry honey glaze and sandwiched between 2 warm waffles. Which means your favorite meal of the day just met your new favorite dish. And lucky for you, it's served all day. But it's only here for a limited time, so try chicken and bowberry waffles at Bojangles today. It's bow time.
You know what, D? I hate being on this highway with all these 18-wheelers. I don't know what I'd do if I got in an accident with one.
First, call 911 to report the accident, and then hit up the gators of the litigation situation. Alexander Shinara Trial Attorney, because accidents with 18-wheelers, delivery truck, and construction vehicles are complicated. Call 1-800-229-7989 or hit them up at Shinara.com. Alexander Shinara Trial Attorney. We go deeper. We fight harder. We win bigger. Call me, Alabama.
Physical office location, Birmingham.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown,
Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, the next round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
Man, I hope you had a good break. We did. Back live with you now. It is playoff week for us as we are live in Pasadena. Not LT and I. We're here in the Birmingham studios, but Brian Brown is out on the West Coast where it is 7 a.m. Pacific time this morning. Good morning, Brownie. Welcome to the show from Pasadena. Well, sorta. Venice Beach, right?
Yeah, Venice Beach, Marina Del Rey. Let me get my bearings. Pasadena is that way. If I'm correct. Yeah, that's Pasadena is what?
No, that's Baja. You pointed towards Baja.
No. That's Pasadena that way. The Pacific is to my left.
Yeah, northeast is where you should be pointing. Is that right?
Yeah. Okay. I think that's right. Well, the sun's coming up. The sun's coming up right there, so that's east, right?
Okay, yeah.
Oh,
so,
yes.
Yeah, Pasadena is in that general direction, and the Pacific, I can actually see the Pacific. It's just to my left.
All right. So while you're out there, coverage all week, LT will be there shortly after he takes care of the business tonight for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. More on that a little bit later on in Atlanta.
What a loss for you guys. What a loss for you guys. Terrible.
Yeah. Well, I mean, who could beat Quinn Ewers? But more on that coming up when we get to the NFL. But, hey, it's Alabama, Indiana week. It's Rose Bowl week, LT. And let's just get everybody up to date just in case you've got holiday mush brain. Alabama is not the number one team in the country. That's Indiana. Alabama's not the favorite. That's Indiana, and that line really isn't moving.
No, that line is pretty much standing pat right now. And, I thought this number would dive down a little bit, but it just hasn't. And I think odds makers believe, we talk about brand all the time, and the brand definitely favors Alabama, but Indiana is still a 7-point favorite, total of 47.5. So they're expecting Indiana to win a low-scoring game.
Oh, Indiana, low-scoring game, like we saw them play in the Big Ten championship game against Ohio State. If this game plays out like that, that's sort of what everyone's expecting.
Yeah, I think that's what a lot of people are expecting right now. And, I continue to talk to people all the time, holiday parties, in and out of town, and it's kind of the same narrative. Like, who have they really beaten? And I'm like, have you not, like, you could say this about Indiana last year because they'd never been on this stage, but going to Autzen, beating Ohio State, and when I bring up Ohio State, well, it was their Super Bowl. Well, Ohio State was playing for the number one seed in the conference championship, too. Like, nobody wants to give him credit. He won a Heisman Trophy. Well, he did it against Big Ten defenses. Well, the Big Ten's won back-to-back national championships. If it was Michigan, Ohio State, Oregon, USC, anybody else, it would have a different feel for this, but a lot of people just believe because it's Indiana and a bunch of 3-stars, Alabama will be able to, line up and out-athlete them, and that's not going to be the case.
No respect, Brownie, out there on the West Coast for Indiana.
Yeah, I'm like Lance, and I don't know if you've had the same experience, Dunaway, but every Alabama fan I run into feels confident about this game, which is so weird because the confidence level of Alabama fans was not very high going into the Oklahoma game, I don't think. But, I mean, talking over the Christmas break to Alabama fans, they are very confident in this game. And I know we got plenty of time to talk about this, but this is part of their confidence is they've been here before and all those things. But then they start talking about, hey, by the way, if you can win this one, now Oregon and Texas Tech have to come to Atlanta. That'll be an Alabama home game. They've started I think a lot of Alabama fans have started thinking about Miami now, playing in Miami. So I think this is a pretty confident fan base going into this game.
Brownie's out there with our Rose Bowl coverage. LT will be out there travel day tomorrow. He'll be there Wednesday anchoring our coverage all week long. The show being brought to you today as we jump into what Alabama's saying is, by the way, Brown, you beat Alabama to town by about 24 hours. They don't leave here until this afternoon. So way to beat them on the ground out to Pasadena. They travel today.
I feel it.
We'll hear from them as they practiced again over the weekend, Saturday and Sunday, and did a lot of media availability coming up. Show being brought to you by our friends at Bojangles. Brownie, on the golf course yesterday, the guys who were cleaning my club afterwards, they were talking about the Bowberry biscuit.
Oh, my gosh. They should be. That Bowberry biscuit is fantastic. I always get it with the chicken filet, that Cajun chicken filet in the middle, and make sure they put the icing on it as well. It is terrific. Great way to start your morning. But Bojangles is also a great idea for the watch parties. You're going to get together and watch that Rose Bowl game and all the college football parties, or a New Year's Eve party. It's a great idea with Bojangles. Let them handle it for you with all their chicken tenders, those Bo Bites, which are the small hand-breaded chicken bites. You dip in the peach honey pepper sauce. It is fantastic as well. So whether it is breakfast on your way to work tomorrow, lunch, or dinner today with those great sides and the biscuits and the fried chicken at Bojangles, you can always make it bow time.
Hey, and hopefully this past holiday season, you had an opportunity to finally sample some company distilling. If you've been waiting to try a whiskey as good as the company you keep, now is your moment. Available throughout the state of Alabama. Get into your local ABC store, package store, ask for it by name. If they don't have it, tell them to get it. Jeff Arnett, the master distiller, the man behind the bottle, former master distiller for Jack Daniels for over 20 years. But you can pick up a bottle right now in selective states. Make sure you ask for it by name. Get the apple or the maple variations. It is Company Distilling. For more information, companydistilling.com/Alabama.
Okay, in the chat room, Brown, everybody wants to know if you've been out for breakfast yet this morning at 7:06.
Yes. A California delicacy.
Yeah.
Wow. And I mean, they've only been in California like 10 years. Wow. Can't get the South out of you.
There's one less than. One less than a mile away?
Well, I told you In-N-Out's like a mile from that place too. Have you been to In-N-Out yet?
That's right.
Yeah.
I'm on the rooftop here. I can't see it. I can't lay eyes on it, but I think it's right over here. I don't want to go directions again, but I think it's to my east, towards the Rose Bowl.
Yeah, it is between you and a slum road, which I'm sure you've seen.
It's California, man.
Yeah.
You could be in the nicest neighborhood and a slum road in one block.
The crazy thing is, I said this, I lived out there for 8 months. It rained one day in the 8 months. When we were out there 6 weeks ago, it was in the mid-50s. It was pouring rain. I got dropped off at the LA Coliseum, and sitting out there for USC Iowa, I was like, I will never sit in a game like this again. Well, and the Rose Bowl is going to be the exact same conditions.
Yeah. This is the one reason we're on the rooftop today, guys, is this is probably our only shot at it. From this location. So we're probably going to have to be indoors for the rest of the shows this week because they are predicting rain really starting Wednesday. Tomorrow's kind of iffy, but starting Wednesday into Thursday, it should affect the game. I don't know how much. They're saying as much as an inch that will rain during the game, which is very, very rare for a Rose Bowl, as you well know. So I think elements are going to be a big issue in this game. And they've had a ton of rain out here. Like, I was when I was coming from the airport to where we're staying here, I was going to try to just drive down the Pacific, the PCH, right, Pacific Coast Highway, and there are parts of it that are still closed because of mudslides. So it's a legitimate issue out here. Obviously, they are just not used to this kind of rain, but it could affect the game as well.
A lot of Alabama fans traveling out there, not as many as Indiana fans. They should have the advantage in the stadium. Let's talk about the game on the field. Kane Womack, the defensive coordinator, it is still the Rose Bowl. I know it's part of the playoffs. It's the second playoff game for Alabama. But this is the Rose Bowl game. 100 years since Alabama won their first Rose Bowl. They get a chance to try to win it again 100 years later. They've won some since then, of course. But Kane Womack, he's coaching in the Rose Bowl.
This would be a bucket list opportunity for me. I mean, I've been in between my dad's career, my playing career, coaching career. I've been a part of the Orange Bowl, Sugar Bowl, Cotton Bowl, Peach. I mean, I think this will be my 26th bowl game that I've been a part of, but I've never been a part of the Rose Bowl. So this is an awesome opportunity, one that I will take a moment at some point to appreciate, enjoy, and then I'll lock right back into the work and the task at hand. I would imagine Rose Bowls are much more memorable when you win the game. So we'll make sure that we do that. But it's awesome. I mean, our sport is built upon moments and bowl games like the Rose Bowl. And so this one is the granddaddy of them all for a reason, and we're excited to be a part of it.
Now, for most of my life, I never thought Alabama would ever play in an actual Rose Bowl game because they were locked out of it because the SEC didn't go to Rose Bowls.
Yeah, Big Ten, Pac-12, Pac-8, Pac-10, Pac-12.
But now it's coming along pretty regularly that Alabama's playing in an actual Rose Bowl game. It's pretty cool.
Well, it's the 9th one they've played in, but 6 were before 1947, and I'm with you. I never thought we would see it, and then 2009, we were out there for Texas and Alabama, and then we were back out there 2 years ago to see Nick Saban's final game against Michigan. It is rare, though, and that's one of the things. Like, a lot of Alabama fans aren't going again, and they are holding out for maybe Miami if they're to get on a heater here. But all of the Alabama fans are like, damn, I do wish I could go to a Rose Bowl. It is a bucket list, as Kane Womack said right there. It is definitely a thing. I was doing my pros and cons about going out this week because I thought about hanging back with you. And one of the pros, the biggest con was weather. But one of the biggest pros was like, will I ever go to another Rose Bowl? This might be it. And by the way, these tickets, as passionate as Indiana fans might be, will be $100 each, maybe.
Yep. Yeah, I've already looked because I had a friend that was looking for tickets. And I tell people this all the time, and both of you guys know this. When Alabama and Auburn play in this game, both or any of the games that Alabama and Auburn have played, by game time, it's a face value or less ticket for pretty good seats, actually, not even get-ins. And I tell people that all the time. I'm like, if you can stomach the money to get out here, tickets aren't going to be a problem. And Lance, to your point, I looked ahead, and you're right. That is going to be a cheap ticket, even with Indiana. And listen, this is just something that is another issue I think the college football playoff has to address is if I'm an Indiana fan, I'm looking at wherever their next stop is. I can't, I guess it'd be Atlanta, obviously.
Yeah, it's Atlanta.
Yeah, Atlanta. Yeah, that's the way that works, Ryan. Atlanta and Miami. And I'm like, I got to make some choices here, some tough choices. So it is going to be a cheap ticket. If you can stomach the cost of getting out here, it will not be trouble getting in that stadium, especially if there's going to be an inch of rain on Thursday.
Yeah, and I think we all agree. I mean, I don't know what the forecast would be in Bloomington based on the 40-degree drop we've had in the local area overnight. It's probably pretty cold up there, but these games should be on campus in the second round.
Yeah, eventually we'll get there, but the Rose Bowl is still a big deal. You heard Kane Womack talk about it. For all the trashing of the stadium and all of that, when it turns up 3 o'clock Central Time on January 1st and the Rose Bowl is on, it means something to college football fans and coaches and players, and Alabama and Indiana get a chance to do that coming up later this week. Brown's anchoring our coverage out there. LT will be there a little bit later on. I didn't know you were waffling at one point. The forecast was the reason why?
Well, I mean, look, in Southern California when it rains, and I think I told you guys when I was on with you, it is almost like Alabama when it snows. They are not used to the rain. Everybody's in a panic mode. Nobody can drive out there. The traffic is
Brown's
horrendous.
got a rental. He'll be driving, and God knows he never tailgates.
Yeah, never at all. I was waffling, yeah.
Yeah.
And again, I'm shocked you're not going.
You're back on you're on for the record, though, right? You're back on for the record.
Yeah, unless Dunaway wants to tap.
Okay.
We want to tap out tag team.
This has been This has been the most comfortable decision I've ever made. I've never felt. I doubt restaurant orders for dinner more than I have this decision. By the way,
well, that is shocking because you are the ultimate media guy.
Oh, I'm going to Tuscaloosa for Yale, Alabama tonight. So I mean,
So what kept you away from this?
I don't know. I just don't want to. I don't know. I'll be. Hopefully they'll win, and I'll keep going. I just look forward to. I don't know. I've missed so many playoff games. I'm getting Friday night and then triple header on January 1st. We talk about things that you may not have many of. I mean, I've only got so many more January 1st, those big bowl games. I get to see all 3 of them this year.
I'm going to get to see most of them.
Did you get a bad diagnosis? Did you get a tough diagnosis?
No,
we don't know
I mean, I'm getting older, man. I only played 85 rounds of golf this year.
I am absolutely shocked you're not going, but trust me, I will be there, probably man on the street stuff early. And then at halftime will be the latest. And, Brown, you will take your own car because I remember we had to circle back and get you guys last time, and it was absolute pain in the ass. But this time I will be in and out of there and on a sports bar stool somewhere watching.
Best coverage in the country right here. I will tell you, we look forward to traveling with Alabama every year. Now the game on the field, brought to you by our friend Dr. B. And when it comes to getting your hair right, Dr. B will do that. Ryan Grubb's got to get this offense right against a really good defense. We'll talk about that after you tell us about Dr. B.
Yeah, I'm sure Ryan Grubb wishes it was as easy as what Dr. B can do for you and your hair. Again, it can happen at any time. It can happen in your 20s, your 30s, 40s, 50s. When you start to thin out, make the phone call that I made, 205-319-0316. For more information, T3hair.net. T3's got that test. It's easy, painless, affordable, takes seconds to perform. It's going to show show which medicines and compounds will specifically work for your hair loss. Stop wasting money and critical time while you're losing hair on treatments that aren't working for you. Go see Dr. B and find out what will work for you. 205-319-0316. Tell them the next round sent you. For more information, T3hair.net.
Joel Klatt joins the show to start hour number 3 today. 11 o'clock Central Time. If you want to be with us, if not, you'll catch Joel on all of our platforms, including Apple and Spotify, and of course on YouTube, where you get all the stuff. And YouTube, I forget now, it's called TNR Clips. Is that what it is?
Yes, TNR Clips is where I will be posting all the best segments from the show, the best stories. One that's been getting a lot of attention on that channel is Alabama players' reaction to 50 Cent's performance at the Oklahoma game.
Yeah.
Everybody really liked that video.
Yeah. Not to be the old guy correcting you, but is it 50 cents or 50 cent?
Cent.
Yeah.
With one. I think you threw an S on there, right?
I might have.
Okay. Just don't want to be the, Jimmy Current here wanting to make sure we got that right. 50 cent.
I was using the possessive form of 50 Cent.
Oh, well, way to go. I could have never pulled that out of my butt either. Possessive.
Thanks, Brooks.
All right. So back to the game on the field now. I was just talking to Bo before the show started that Indiana's defense is a lot like Oklahoma's defense. In fact, Oklahoma is number 1. Indiana is number 2 in the country in tackles for losses. 112 tackles for losses is what Indiana has come up with this year. Here's Ryan Grubb on the challenge of Indiana's defense.
Really disciplined defense. They play very disciplined. They're exactly where they're supposed to be. They execute their system at a really, really high level. They tackle really well. And I think one thing I see that we've been challenging our guys on, they defeat blocks, and I wish I could tell you something way more sexy than that, but it's like they're really good at the little stuff, and that's what you see, in good defenses is teams that defeat blocks, run to the football, tackle well, force turnovers. They do all the little things really, really well, and that's what, we got to be ready for. Because you'll see plenty of plays on film where it's like, this play is developing, it's got a shot, it looks like it's going to be well executed, and then they just simply defeat the block, and they win at the point of attack. And so, just a good smash-mouth team that you can tell are very well coached.
Defeat the blocks, man. And there are times where Alabama in certain positions have struggled to block people up, and they finally got it cooking against Oklahoma and did a good job against their edges. This Indiana team reminds a lot of people of that Oklahoma team when it comes to tackling for losses.
Yeah, I think this Indiana defense is probably a little bit better. I know SEC fans don't want to hear that, but when you look at what they did in the regular season, like they gave up 24 to Penn State, the most they gave up all year, but they only gave up 20 in Austin. They only give up 10 to Ohio State in the Big Ten championship game. This defense has been dominant. It's the second overall scoring defense right now in college football. They have been lights out against the run. I don't think that's going to matter at all. But if Alabama went 75+, it would be a huge day for Alabama on the ground.
Yeah, Brandy, that's what it goes back to. Everyone's talking about being one dimension as you see Indiana working out, getting ready for Alabama in their practice up here. They're balanced offensively and defensively, but Alabama, once again, being one dimension with the lack of run game seems to really favor Indiana.
Yeah, here's what I would say, though, to counter that is that I would say worst case, this is the third best quarterback they faced. Because if you look at the quarterbacks they've had to face, Old Dominion, Kennesaw State, Indiana State, Illinois, Iowa, Oregon, Dante Moore, that was a road game, obviously. They held him to 186 passing yards, 1 touchdown, 2 picks. That was a terrific defensive performance by them. Michigan State, UCLA, Maryland, Penn State, Wisconsin, Purdue, and then Ohio State, Julian saying 264, a touchdown, and a pick in that game. There's no doubt Ty Simpson's the third best quarterback they've faced. If he's worse than Dante Moore, which you can make an argument, I don't think people would argue that he's better than Julian Saban. I understand that. But, I mean, this may be the second best quarterback that they have faced or the second best passing attack that they faced this year.
We'll break down the quarterbacks and the gap between Heisman Trophy winner Fernando Mendoza and Ty Simpson. Notice I'm just saying gap. Some of you may say Ty's better than Fernando. I don't know. I'm letting that be up to you. But is there a gap, and what is that gap? We'll talk about
Somebody
that.
said that?
No, I'm just saying.
Okay,
I'm just saying if you believe Ty Simpson's the better quarterback, You can.
You're an Alabama fan.
Yeah. You might be an Alabama fan. We'll talk about that coming up in the next segment, comparing those two. We'll get to the NFL, though, after Lance tells us about Lance's lock and our friends at Hemp Hill. His Rams in action tonight in Atlanta. He'll be on the premises at Mercedes-Benz Stadium tonight. Lance'sLock.com.
We were so close to an incredible weekend. You know, we lose Saturday. We had Georgia Tech. Plus the 3.5. They lose by 4 to BYU, our only blemish. We were 4-1. And then yesterday we roll out, we had the Colts plus 5.5. They covered the entire game until Cam Little comes in, kicks a long field goal with 18 seconds left to beat us by a half point. Then we had an easy winner in the afternoon with the Philadelphia Eagles, although it did come down to a final play and a 2-point conversion. But then last night we had the freaking Bears plus 3.5. They get down, first and goal at the 5. They can't get it in. It would have the implications on the next couple of weeks in the NFC would have been huge if the Bears could have converted that. So we were 1-2 yesterday. We bounced back. Big day today. We've got a bowl game. We've got Monday Night Football with the Rams and the Falcons. Jump on and win with us. Free play every single day at Lance'sLock.com. Always brought to you by our friends at Hemp Hill Services. Whether you experience plumbing, heating, or cooling issues in your home or business, they are ready to serve you. 205-229-2090. Hard to stop a train. Call Adam, Chad, Andrew, the guys there. For more information, HempHillServices.com.
Okay, so playoff implications. I need the Rams to beat the Falcons tonight so that the Buccaneers, who have lost 4 straight and 7 of their last 8, including yesterday to Browns-Dolphins, can still make the playoffs with a win against the Panthers, which is amazing. But that is the reality of it all. If the Rams, who already lost to the Panthers, and that didn't help me, if the Rams don't beat the Falcons tonight, then it's done for the Buccaneers. The only other playoff implication game next week is Pittsburgh and Baltimore. But you tell me your starters are playing tonight because you guys are still jockeying for seeding.
Well, McVay is one of those guys that I've seen him kind of cash in before and not worry about the seeding. But I think this year you want to play on the road either Carolina or Tampa. I would rather play Carolina again just based on how that game played out and the flukish way they won that game. But would you rather go to Carolina, Tampa, or would you rather play in Philadelphia for the first wild card weekend?
Carolina or Tampa.
Yeah. I would rather play Carolina and Tampa, though that Eagles offense does seem to be broken.
No, but I mean, look at it like this.
Well, but they just went on the road and beat the Bills, and it was crappy weather. I mean, that's a good win. Philadelphia, you do not want to play them.
Yeah. You know how many passing yards Jalen Hurts had in the second half?
What did you see the elements they were playing in?
Will it be bad elements in Philadelphia? Yeah,
there's a chance. Yeah. But they won the game, by the way. Buffalo was playing in the same elements. Philadelphia won.
Jalen Hurts 0 passing yards in the second half for the second time this year, and they're 2-0 in those games.
Well, look, I just know watching the Rams, the last 2 games they played in Lincoln Financial. You know, last year in that snow playoff game, they get down. They could have won the game. Philadelphia goes on, wins the Super Bowl, and then earlier this year with the 2 block kicks in the final minute and a half. I'm telling you, this is, and I don't know if this is hyperbolic or not, this might be the best wild card team in the history of the NFL.
The Rams.
Yeah, I mean, the Rams could easily be 15-0. Easily 15-0.
Oh, yeah.
Some people are saying they're the best team in the league still.
Well, Vegas still got a favor to win the Super Bowl, and they're going to be a 5 or a 6 seed.
Yeah, and they can't win. After the 49ers win last night, they can't win their division.
Cannot. Yeah. But again, like if you go on and you lock up the 5 seed, which they would have to win this week and next week against Arizona, but if they do that, then they go to Carolina or Tampa. Green Bay is probably going to be at Chicago, and Seattle or San Francisco is going to be at Philadelphia. I could see both of those teams lose, and then all of a sudden, Rams have got home field.
Oh, wow. That's right. Forgot about that. You can still work your way to home field advantage. Pittsburgh and Baltimore is the other bad loss from Pittsburgh yesterday. The Browns get them. So instead of clinching, Pittsburgh and Baltimore play just like Carolina and Tampa, a winner-take-all game that'll be the Sunday night game. It's been flexed to Sunday night. And Carolina and Tampa will be America's game late afternoon next week. Other than that, it's all for seeding, as the Rams and Falcons tonight being one of those. The Bears clinched the NFC North, even with the loss last night.
They're better than I thought they were. Like every week, they just prove me wrong. I'm like, this is the week. 2 weeks ago against Green Bay, I thought that they would lose that game down 10, 3 minutes to go at home. They win the game last night. I don't know how they kept up with that 49ers offense, but they were able to do it.
Yeah, Caleb Williams is playing good football, Brownie.
Yeah, have you guys seen the numbers of the Lions with Ben Johnson and the Lions without their record? Ben Johnson can coach. I mean,
apparently, yeah.
And I know, look, there are a lot of factors in records. I get it. But their record with Ben Johnson as the offensive coordinator and without is astounding. That guy can flat coach.
Yeah, absolutely. Broncos clinch their division. Patriots clinch their division. DeMeco Ryans, with very few, if any, stars on offense, has the Texans back in the playoffs again. They got another big win over the weekend.
Best team in the AFC.
Best team in the AFC.
Yeah, I've said that for weeks.
Even with their offensive struggles.
I think their defense is that good. And look, it shouldn't really have been a game this past Saturday. They were up 14-0 before you could blink. Look, I don't think there's any dominant teams right now. You worry about a guy like Josh Allen. If he ever gets on a heater, just watch the pass that he missed again yesterday, going for 2. But I do believe, right now the Texans are the best team in the AFC.
Yeah, and then there's the New York Jets, who just had, Brownie, the worst December in the history of professional football, passing the 1960 Chicago Bears. They lost all their games. Their point differential was minus 107 just in December games, the worst month ever. That's the other coordinator from the Lions that is the head coach there.
Yeah, not going so well for Terry Glenn. And, I mean, at the trade deadline, they got rid of everybody except Garrett Wilson. All their good players except Garrett Wilson they got rid of. They don't have a quarterback. They were already a pretty, mediocre team, even with the guys they got rid of. So, I mean, it is surprising when you see in anything that says in the history of the NFL after it. But, I mean, they gave up. They gave up. I mean, you watch teams like the Browns. What a terrible loss for Baltimore yesterday. Not to pick on your Buccaneers. Terrible loss for the Buccaneers. They're playing teams that are going nowhere, but Miami played hard in that game. I watched it. I mean, Miami was it seemed like the more motivated team, which is remarkable. And Cleveland, the same thing. The Jets just gave up.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the only explanation is you gave up, and that's amazing for professional football players.
Yeah, it is. I mean, like watching the Bengals yesterday, they didn't give up. Watching the Vikings, a couple of days ago on Christmas, didn't give up. But you're right. I mean, the Jets, as bad as they are, they're still not the worst team in the NFL. That would belong to the Raiders.
Yeah.
Worst. Amazing.
And by the way, who beat them yesterday? Was it the Giants?
Yep.
Who ruined their draft pick by winning that game for some reason?
I guess because the Giants figure they're going to get what they want. Now, if they're at the top of the draft, maybe it is a little bit different, but they've already got their quarterback of the future.
Yeah.
And the Raiders are already getting criticism for arresting Max Crosby, who's out shooting basketball on video, which is ridiculous. But, I mean, it looked like they were trying to tank it as well.
Yeah. There were a lot of Tampa fans cheering against the Buccaneers, which I don't understand, but because they want Todd Bowles out. One tweet that made it on my timeline that said it had Photoshop of Bowles standing next to Jeffrey Epstein, and it said "Release the Bowles files." That was the tweet that was on my timeline.
I don't understand. Like, I understand if you've got 4 or 5 wins. I'm still in the camp. Let's go out and win anyway. I don't want to tank.
Yeah.
But if you've got a chance to go to the postseason, how fans would pull against that?
Yeah, me too. Just keep that streak alive is all I care about. We'll forget that. We'll forget we were 8-9, Brown.
Yeah, my team was going nowhere. My team's going nowhere, Dunaway, and I'm on a plane yesterday, flying to Los Angeles, living and dying with every play. Yeah. And my team's going nowhere. We're out of the playoffs. I just don't understand ever pulling against
the future.
Like
is the future Quinn Ewers?
I mean, no. I mean, he looked okay yesterday. I don't know. I mean, give him some time. That was only a second start. He improved drastically from start 1 to start 2. I don't know. I mean, it's the Dolphins, man. We'll screw it up. Even if he is the future, we'll find a way to screw it up.
Yeah, I would say this. If, from my perspective, if the Rams win tonight, it's like the playoffs start next week for me. It's a win-or-go-home game. And if we win that one, get another one, win or go home, and it's bonus football. So it's great to be a fan. Right. Alabama fans, your quarterback, Ty Simpson, Ryan Grubb, and Ty both talking over the weekend. We'll hear from them coming up in the next segment. Before Brownie tells us about the great Alexander Shunnarah, LT, tell us about CPAP Plus Sleep Home Alabama.
Yeah, you've still got a couple of days on that Show Your ResMed sleep score. You can do it with our buddies Woody and Joe O'Neill. They want to remind you, so important to get the proper sleep every single night. Look, I'm speaking from experience. I have struggled with it. You need to get the 8 hours. It's great for your health. And again, if you're on a CPAP, listen up, because our friends at CPAP Plus and O'Neill Med, they're running the Show Your Score promotion. Stop by one of their Birmingham locations. Pelham, Trustful, Inverness on Highway 280. No appointment needed. Show Your ResMed My Air Sleep Score. Automatically entered to win a brand new ResMed Air Mini Travel CPAP worth $900. The Show Your raffles runs through December 31st. 2 more days, so don't miss it. Get all the details, o'neillmed.com. That is ONEAL med.com.
And as we approach a new year, 24 of those 24 years, Alexander Shannara has operated in the city of Birmingham. Why? Because that is his hometown. It is where he was born. It's where he's bred. It is the place he makes his home. And 24 years now, he's grown his firm to more than 150 lawyers, supported by more than 500 dedicated team members. And they've recovered more than $2 billion, maintaining Alexander's core values. Those values are integrity, mastery, passion, and success. $2 billion with a B dollars from Alexander Shannara Trial Attorneys. If you find yourself in need of a lawyer for any situation, call Alexander Shannara Trial Attorneys. You pay nothing unless they win your case. Shannara.com, Shannara.com.
Follow Scott Forrester on Twitter at ScottForresterTV.
You know what, D? I hate being on this highway with all these 18-wheelers. I don't know what I'd do if I got in an accident with one.
First, call 911 to report the accident, and then hit up the gators of the litigation situation. Alexander Shannara Trial Attorney, because accidents with 18-wheelers, delivery truck, and construction vehicles are complicated. Call 1-800-229-7989 or hit them up at Shannara.com. Alexander Shannara Trial Attorney. We go deeper. We fight harder. We win bigger.
Physical office location, Birmingham. This hour of The Next Round is presented by the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, now featuring 7 days of giveaways with your chance to win a share of up to $125,000. The more you visit the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, the more chances you have to win.
To everyone who craves a fresh meal made just for you, let our team member Jacob share what's special about Culver's.
In Wisconsin, our food comes from the heart, and taking the time to handcraft your meal with care is how we've always done it at Culver's. It's why your Butterburger doesn't touch the grill until after you order.
Come to Culver's and let us serve you a Butterburger, made special just for you. From Wisconsin with love, welcome to Delicious.
Storm season is here. Make sure you have a plan of action in place right now. Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing should be your first call when storms hit. Insurance companies love working with Storm Restoration Roofing because of Greg Nelson's name and reputation in the industry. When storms hit, call Greg Nelson. He's local, 205-542-3531. He's the home of the free no-cost roof inspection. Greg from Pell City on Facebook, 205-542-3531. It's Storm Restoration Roofing.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, you're in the red zone for every college rivalry and divisional matchup all season long. I mean, where else are the scenic views as good as your view of the game? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Hey, there's nothing worse than waking up to a plumbing problem. Don't get caught in a flooded house. Call the guys at Hemphill Services. Adam, Chad, and the team at Hemphill are the only ones I trust to fix it and fix it right the first time. Hemphill Services does it right and always at a fair price. For all of your plumbing, cooling, and heating needs, trust the name that Birmingham has trusted since 1954. That is Hemphill Services. Call now, 205-229-2090. That's 205-229-2090.
The beauty of the holiday is at the center of your table with the New York Butcher Shop. Their selection of USDA certified Angus prime rib roast, beef tenderloins, and fillets, as well as premium pork and lamb cuts, are the finest selections available in the market and are hand-cut just the way you want. With side dishes handmade by their professional chefs, your holiday meal is complete. Visit one of their 2 locations today, in Cahaba Heights or off Highway 119 in Greystone. Place your order today. The New York Butcher Shop. Rare quality, well done service.
Next Round shirts, Next Round hoodies, and Next Round hats are all in one place. NextRound.store. Find your favorite piece of gear from your favorite show and put it in your rotation. You never know. You might be in one of our videos showing Next Round gear being worn all over the world. Find all your favorite Next Round gear by visiting NextRound.store. Place an order for you and that big Next Round fan in your life at NextRound.store. Look your best at work, at school, at the stadium, or anywhere you go wearing Next Round gear from NextRound.store.
It's bow time. Tired of choosing between sweet and savory? Why not have both? Introducing Bojangles' new chicken and bowberry waffles. The bold Cajun chicken filet you love, now drizzled with a bowberry honey glaze and sandwiched between two warm waffles. Which means your favorite meal of the day just met your new favorite dish. And lucky for you, it's served all day. But it's only here for a limited time, so try chicken and bowberry waffles at Bojangles today. It's bow time.
Back with you on the next round as we get ready for regular season basketball in the SEC, not regular season, but conference play, which starts Saturday. Bama at home to Kentucky, Auburn on the road at Georgia Saturday after we get through the playoffs on New Year's Day. But Yale and Bama tonight at 7 in Tuscaloosa. Queens, which I did not know was a real school, Queens and Auburn tonight down at Neville. Am I right about that, Forrester? Is that a 9 o'clock tip tonight?
I know it is late. I was thinking 8, but
okay. Maybe
it's 9.
It's 9 o'clock Central or 9 o'clock Eastern. Either way, it's too late to be playing Queens.
Late.
Queens should be in bed at that point. But basketball happening tonight. Back to football in Alabama, Indiana Rose Bowl. That's where Brownie is, and Brownie will tell you he's got a great location there, but his location here is a lot better with our friends at A+.
That's right. It is my guy, Brad Bell. AlabamaBathRemodels.com is the website if you want to check out Brad's work. AlabamaBathRemodels.com. Scott shows you all the time the before and after of the brown bathroom when it came time to redo the master bath. In my house, my wife Jennifer scoured the internet looking for the right person for the job. Brad Bell was the guy she picked. I'm glad she did. His crews did tremendous work, but you can see more before and afters, not just mine, at AlabamaBathRemodels.com. That is AlabamaBathRemodels.com. Now, Brad specializes in master bath, kitchen, and master bedroom closets. Not to say it's all he does, but it is certainly his specialty. And the reason that's important is you spend a lot of time in those rooms, so you want them to look great and be functional. But also when you go to sell your home, you can make some of your money back on those rooms at Alabama, or when Brad redoes the master bath, the kitchen, and the master bedroom closets, when he remodels those rooms. You can call Brad, 205-422-1758. That is 205-422-1758. Or just visit his website, AlabamaBathRemodels.com. That is AlabamaBathRemodels.com.
All right, so Ty Simpson versus Fernando Mendoza. I don't really like the way Brownie, when we say it like that, because those two players are never on the field at the same time, quarterback versus quarterback, right? We talked about that for years and years. It's not really Ty Simpson versus Fernando Mendoza, right?
No, the comparison is, but, it's Ty Simpson versus Indiana's pass defense, which is good, and Fernando Mendoza versus Alabama's pass defense, which is really good.
Yeah. Here's Ty Simpson on facing the number one team in the country. Does that add any extra pressure to his job as the Alabama quarterback?
Indiana's undefeated, playing in the biggest game in school history. Does that add pressure for you, or does it make it more like, I'm ready to seize the moment?
Yeah, I think, if anything, it's more exciting. Indiana is a really, really, really good team. I'm very impressed with what they're doing on film, what they've done throughout the season. Their defense, how disciplined they are and what they do. And it just honestly makes, the stakes bigger, right? Number one team in the country, 13-0 Big Ten champions, got the Heisman Trophy winner, got one of the best third down defenses in the country. So, being able to go out there and play and perform and be a competitor is all you can ask for. So, the team's super excited and the guys are, just ecstatic to be there.
Listen, I know Brown's on the ground out in Pasadena. I want him to undersell. He made it sound like it was Indiana, good defense, good secondary, and Alabama's great. That Indiana corner situation, their two corners there are all Big Ten corners, and that includes, the Ohio State DBs, the Oregon DBs, the Michigan DBs. Those two, I think it's Pons and Moore.
D'Angelo Pons is the guy that was on Jeremiah Smith in the Big Ten championship game. He's an all first 10 Big Ten guy, and he is legitimate. He's a legitimate NFL talent. They've got him all over the field. I mean, that's the crazy thing is you got three guys up front now. One of the guys, Stephen Daly's out. He got hurt in the Big Ten championship game. But they've got a guy with 8 sacks. They've got a guy with 5.5 sacks. You've got an all-world linebacker in Aiden Fisher. I mean, you've just got players all over the field. And back to Mendoza versus Simpson, Mendoza leads the FBS with 33 touchdowns, obviously won the Heisman Trophy. He doesn't have to win this game for Indiana, though. Indiana with Roman Hemby, Kalon Black running the football, both 800-plus yard backs. Like Alabama has 0 legit backs. They have got 2 very legit backs, so they can run the football, play great defense, and still win this game.
Brown, back
let me
go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, you go.
I was going to clean that up real quick. Both of them are really, really good. Alabama 10th in the nation in pass defense. Indiana 18th. Indiana's stat that's remarkable. Alabama's 13-11 touchdown to interception. On defense, on their pass defense, Indiana's 7-17, 7 touchdown receptions they've given up versus 17 interceptions. So yes, I was unfair to Indiana's pass defense unintentionally. I didn't mean to do it that way. But I would say this when you talk about those corners, if I'm Indiana and Fernando Mendoza, I do not look to Xavier Brown's side very often. I don't know about you guys, but I would quit throwing to that side of the field. That guy is a ball hawk, and he knows how to get them back to the end zone.
Here's my question for you. If Pons is so good for both of you, but I'll start with you, Brown. If Pons is so good and he takes Jeremiah Smith out of the game for Ohio State, obviously it was easy to say, okay, Jeremiah Smith is somebody we want to take away. Who do you put Pons on the Alabama for Alabama? You go first, Brownie. Who do you put Pons on? Do you put him on Ryan Williams? Do you put him on Germ, who's injured? Who do you put him on?
Well, I mean, Alabama can dictate some of that by alignment, right? I mean,
yeah, of course.
Last Friday night, you would have wanted him on Latzier Brooks, but Brooks was able, because he was in the slot, to be paired up against a safety a lot, and he ate him alive. I mean, it's a great question, Jim. I mean, if I'm able to, if I'm Curt Cignetti and I can just say, okay, Pons gets this guy every play, I'm going to go Jeremy Bernard. That's still who worries me more than Ryan Williams. I don't know. It's a great question. I think if you're an Alabama fan, and this is going to sound crazy, I think you hope he's on Ryan Williams every play, don't you?
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was trying to get to. Is you want Ryan Williams to still be good enough to be a decoy to pull Pons off of somebody else.
Well, and real quick, I mean, Pons did give up some yards to Jeremiah Smith. He went 8 for 144, but kept him out of the end zone. He still had 9 tackles in that Big Ten championship game. I think the good news for Indiana is Alabama doesn't have a dominant wide receiver right now. Like, I think they can kind of wait and figure out who's kind of got the hot hand, and then maybe you can, gravitate, Pons over to that side, or, stick him on whoever that guy is, whether it, if it is Ryan Williams or if it is Germ. Something seems to be not only up with Ryan Williams, something seems to be up with Germ physically.
Yeah, well, he's battling an injury. I don't know how much of that's out there. He's fighting through it like a lot of people are this time of year, and we'll see how. I mean, he made some big plays in that Oklahoma game, so he's getting some. He and Cuevas both did yeoman's work there with those injuries in Oklahoma. They'll need to do it again against Indiana, Brownie.
Yeah, they will. The one play we didn't get the last time we did a show together a week ago, because there was so much to talk about in that Oklahoma game. But to your point, Lance, about Jeremy Bernard, who is so dependable for Alabama, there was that play where he was behind the secondary, and granted the pass was a little bit short. If Ty Simpson's able to put air under it, it is a walk-in touchdown for Jeremy Bernard. But he kind of has to go to the ground to catch it, and it just goes right through his hands. And immediately everybody's reaction was, is it the weird lights that he had talked about because of where he was on the field? But that is uncharacteristic of Jeremy Bernard. Now, with that said, he came back and made a spectacular Tyrone Prothro-like catch later in the game. So he's still got it in him. But, yeah, he's not 100% for sure.
Yeah, and by the way, I didn't know this, but apparently when you get mossed, and Randy Moss uses that, he sends you a pair of mossed gloves.
Oh, I didn't know that either.
Yeah, and they showed that on social media. Though, so he sent a pair to Germ, and it says mossed or got mossed or whatever on the gloves there. It was such a great play, and that went over Oklahoma. More on Ty Simpson and Fernando Mendoza, because there's some numbers floating around. I have not fact-checked these. I just want to throw them out there after we tell you about a couple of our great friends, including Inverness Country Club, LT?
The Inverness Country Club had a chance to get in there last week, see our friend Aaron. Just fantastic club. Hopefully, a lot of you guys took advantage of the great deals going on at Inverness right now, and maybe you got a membership for the entire family for 2026. That could be a resolution. You could make sure, look, you play a lot of golf. The way to save money overall is to get one of these country club memberships, and they've got memberships that fit everyone. The wife's going to love the social membership. Child care is also a big plus. You and your wife want a day of golf or tennis. Guess what? Drop the kid. Go have yourself a day on the court or course, maybe dinner with friends, knowing your kid is safe on site. Massive plus there. Best days happen in Inverness. Take a tour of this unbelievable club. Call Aaron today, 205-991-8608 or online, iccalabama.com.
And our friends at Storm Restoration Roofing, Andrea and Greg, they own the company. They want to say they hope you had a wonderful Christmas, and they're looking forward to serving you in 2026 in the new year. So happy New Year from Greg from Pell City and everybody at Storm Restoration Roofing, his very large family. You can get a free no-cost roof inspection, 205-542-3531. Free no-cost roof inspection. Give him a phone call and get that set up early in 2026. I was riding around over the holidays, and I kept noticing roofs that were stained and looked old, and I thought to myself, Greg from Pell City can help those people out with a soft wash on their roof to take away staining on your shingles. It'll make your roof look better, make all the neighbors go, wow, and you don't even have to replace your roof. Get Greg on the roof to inspect and also check out the soft wash and storm damage repairs, roof replacements. He does it all. Check out the website, stormrestorationroofing.com, or call him up, 205-542-3531. Greg from Pell City on Facebook. The numbers for Fernando Mendoza and Brown at some point, or Brooks, somebody check me on these, but it's floating around on social media. You have checked them out? 4 touchdowns,
these are accurate.
4 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, 670 passing yards against teams who are currently ranked that they played this year. Their schedule was less than. But as LT keeps pointing out, the win at Oregon and the win over Ohio State are huge, as good as any in the country, because those are 2 playoff teams.
Yeah, and I think the win at Iowa, when you start to really look at Iowa, their schedule, and their 4 losses, all to top 25 teams, to be able to go into Kinnick and to win that game, and really, outside of the Mendoza safety he took at the end, they had him at arm's length the whole time. But that was another impressive win to me.
Brownie, you check those numbers out. What do you make of them?
So, I mean, the games people are talking about at Iowa on the road, good defense there at Iowa, 13 of 23, 233, 2 touchdowns and a pick. Not terrible numbers on the road, by the way. Those are pretty good numbers in a road game. At Oregon on the road, 20 of 31, 215, a touchdown and a pick. Against Ohio State, 15 of 23, 222, a touchdown and a pick. Those aren't bad numbers, but what I think a lot of people are pointing out is Kennesaw State, 4 touchdowns, no picks. Indiana State, 5 touchdowns, no picks. Illinois, which in the start of the season, Illinois was a better team.
Yeah.
5 touchdowns, no picks. Michigan State, 4 touchdowns, no picks. Wisconsin, 4 touchdowns, no picks. Purdue, 2 touchdowns, no picks. UCLA, 3 touchdowns, 1 pick. Lance, I think a lot of people are saying he ran some of his numbers up against the bottom of the Big Ten and some of those bad out-of-conference teams that Indiana has played, and they don't apologize for playing them. Curt Cignetti's like, this is the way we're going to do our schedule, but he ran some of his numbers up. I don't know if it's an entirely fair criticism of Mendoza, but the numbers are what they are.
Yeah, the numbers are what they are. Look, and so much different from home and away, and I don't think Bloomington's probably an intimidating place to play. But if you look at them at home, they were 7-0, and they won by an average of 41 points per game. On the road, neutral site, 6-0, and they won by an average of 19 points per game. So they were really dominant everywhere, but especially in Bloomington.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting to see if Indiana, with a longer time off and the pressure of being number 1, it didn't work well for Oregon in the same building last year, Brownie.
No, and we talk a lot about trends in the college football playoff. They had the seeding screwed up last year. So when you talk about these bye teams that didn't perform well last year, you do have to consider that the seeding was screwed up. But one place the seeding was not screwed up was for Oregon. They were the overall number 1, and they would have been the number 1 if the seeding had been correct. And they were obviously out of sync when this game started last year. Ohio State was clicking on all cylinders. They had found their game against Tennessee. Listen, this is everything I'm saying. This is what Alabama fans hope is happening for Alabama, right? that Alabama is going to play at Oklahoma. The last 3 quarters of this game, I can't tell you how many Alabama fans have told me the last 3 quarters of that game, that's the best Alabama has looked since, the Georgia game or whatever in Athens. So Alabama fans are hoping that Alabama, starting in the second quarter in Norman, unlocks something that they had earlier this year, the way Ohio State did it against Tennessee last year. And then when Ohio State got right out here to the Rose Bowl, right over there to the Rose Bowl, they were clicking on all cylinders, and there is no doubt that Oregon came out early flat in that game, and they dug such a deep hole that they had no shot in that game.
Yeah, I would tell you, Brownie, here's Ryan Grubb talking about Ty Simpson's letting it rip mentality. When his back got against the wall, he had to sort of let it fly just to keep Alabama's season alive.
I think that there was a mindset going into the game that was embedded in Ty, and I think that it was one that you saw in the Georgia game earlier in the year and things like that, where there was a little bit of the just let it rip mentality, not worrying so much about, what's going on around him or, how this could affect anything else other than just playing, and obviously for a 22-year-old young man, that's a lot of pressure. And, I think he did a good job of just stay in love with the process, be in the game plan, be ready for the game, and let it keep building and adjust as you go in the game and get ready to make the play. And I just think he was in that moment. He was in the zone as far as just staying locked into the game. And I really felt like he knew that we were going to make a play, and that, we got a couple man coverage looks that we had been wanting, that we won on, and was, Lottie got it all sparked when he hit that third down on a man opportunity. And I just felt like Ty was going to be ready for that moment. That's how I felt talking to him on the headset, was just that if we got that moment, he was going to make the throw and we were going to make the catch. And, we did, and we kept capitalizing on those moments.
39 sacks, though, for this Indiana defense, but they've got a big injury, LT. Stephen Daly, they lost in the Big Ten championship game, and after that, 19 tackles for a loss. He's part of that sack machine. He was replacing Kellen Wyatt, who was a big stud at that position as well. They still got playmakers off the edge and then the pass rush up the middle on the defensive tackle side, but that could be a major factor. While Alabama's getting LT Overton back, it looks like, back at practice, there's the big Stephen Daly who's out for Indiana, it looks like.
Yeah, one of those guys I mentioned that's got 5.5 sacks for the Hoosiers. Let me say this about Ty Simpson real quick. If he plays like he played final 3 quarters on the road in Norman, plays like he did the first half on the road Athens against Georgia, those are more hostile environments than he'll see in the Rose Bowl. And I think, the Georgia defense and the Oklahoma defense they're comparable to what you've got with the Indiana's defense. Ty can get on a heater, and Ty Simpson could single-handedly win this game for Alabama. So I don't want to – I know as soon as people are like, you think Mendoza's so much better, I do think he's the better quarterback. But Alabama's path to victory is Ty Simpson. I don't know about you guys, but it's going to be a lot of defense, and it's going to be Ty Simpson making big-time plays on a big-time setting for Alabama to have any opportunity to win this game.
You agree, Brownie?
Yeah, I do. It's kind of funny, too. This is such a departure for Alabama. Ty Simpson has been talking about this. I don't know the exact phrasing they are using in their locker room, but basically, F the world. It's us against the world. Yeah, it's such a change for Alabama, who has been the giant in college football for 20 years now. And all of a sudden, they're like, everybody in the world's doubting us. Let's go prove them wrong. But I feel like he plays with a chip on his shoulder, Jim. You were in Norman. I think you saw it firsthand. It was clear on TV that he's got a chip on his shoulder right now, that he feels like everybody is doubting Alabama. They don't think they can, they don't run the ball well enough to win. Ty Simpson hadn't played well enough for them to win, and he's playing chip on his shoulder football. I know it's a cliche, but it's the way he's playing, and I think that's the Ty Simpson you want. I think you want the Ty Simpson that has a chip on his shoulder and wants to prove the doubters wrong.
Somewhere between confident and cocky is where you want your quarterback, and that's where Ty Simpson is. More on that game and the other playoff games, and a lot more college football as we move through the final 2 hours of the show. Joel Klatt coming up to start the final hour at 11 Central today as he joins us from just down the road where Brown is, out on the West Coast. The show being brought to you today by our friends, Brownie Culver's. They bring you delicious.
They do. Welcome to Delicious at Culver's. No matter the outcome of the games, whether you're pulling for the Crimson Tide or not, great place to go celebrate those games is with our friends at Culver's. No matter the outcome, Culver's is a great celebration spot. You can celebrate with a juicy butter burger, the creamy fresh frozen custard, the crispy crinkle cut fries, the gooey golden cheese curds, something for everyone in your crew to enjoy at Culver's. Win or lose, Culver's is the perfect place to celebrate these sweet memories you'll make all season long. So in Birmingham, stop by the Culver's at Stadium Trace or Tattersall Park and make this game day a delicious one with Culver's.
Hey, and
welcome to Delicious.
Make 2026 the year of sight for you. Look, if you've been wearing contacts, you've been wearing glasses for years, you're wasting money on it. I'm speaking from experience. I did it for about a decade. Finally went to see Dr. Mark Michelson. It's been over 2 decades for me, back in 2003. Got the procedure done. I had the 2200 vision, was legally blind without the aid of contacts after the procedure, which only took 12 minutes for both eyes. 2015 vision, better than 2020. Make the phone call that I made, 205-969-8100. For more information, michelsonlaservision.com.
All right. I had this on viewing menu previously, but I'm going to see it today, and that is Marty Supreme. I'm going to see it this afternoon. That is the ping pong biopic movie with Timothée Chalamet. He really wants an Oscar for this one. He was standing on top of the Las Vegas Sphere to promote the movie. They turned the sphere into a ping pong ball.
So he was standing on top because I guess you got to be able to get up there to change panels and stuff if they go out, and so that's pretty cool video.
They work that sphere. I know I saw Stranger Things coming out of it last week, so it's non-stop. I've heard this is a really good movie. I was talking to a buddy a couple of days ago, and he took his whole family to see it Christmas night and said it was a lot emotionally, but he's like, and it's a really, really good film.
Yep.
Hey Tyler, can I tell you something about this? So if you've ever been to L.A., you know. And this is weird to me, but they advertise these movies for awards and stuff like that. And I saw some advertisement in the Burbank, Hollywood area. One of the billboards, or actually it wasn't a billboard. It was like a storefront where they had put something on the window advertising that movie and consider the vote or something like that. I don't know how they word it, but it's weird to me. But I guess the voters, the Academy Award voters, are around Hollywood, so I guess they see that.
Yeah. This is, it's been getting a huge push throughout social media, through just legacy media on the interview circuit. Timothée Chalamet is going to go postal if he does not win this Oscar.
It's so ridiculous, though. Can you imagine a guy like campaigning to be the MVP, like Matt Stafford before and after the game tonight? Hey, look, I know Drake Mace had a great season, but I should be the guy. Like, and if I don't get this award, I'm going to be really pissed off.
So Chalamet is to acting what Diego was to the Heisman this year, Pavia?
Yeah, you could say
pretty
that.
much.
Yeah, okay.
Except I think Chalamet will have a much longer career. But Marty Supreme currently has an 8.3 on IMDb and a 95% on Rotten Tomatoes. A lot of people are saying it's one of their favorite movies of the year and one of the best, and it's been described as Uncut Gems meets Requiem for a Dream, but with ping pong. So,
wow.
I'm going to check that out this afternoon. Netflix has added a new show to their catalog, and that is called Members Only Palm Beach. It's described as a soapy reality series following a group of affluent women navigating the elite social scene, high-stakes hierarchies, and unspoken rules of Palm Beach's exclusive circles. So I guess Netflix is getting into the sort of Real Housewives game now.
Hey, why not, right?
Wow. Why not?
And then finally, Prime has added the Naked Gun remake to its catalog. If you didn't get the chance to see it already, I would recommend it. It's a very fun time.
All right. That's what Tyler and LT are watching. One more thing to get to before we get to the top of the hour, brought to you by our friends at Central State Bank. Brownie, tell us about Central State.
Yeah, that is the bank that is big enough to meet any need you have, but they are also small enough to know you at Central State Bank. Why? Because they have been operating in Central Alabama for more than 100 years. And in that 100 years, they don't just open accounts, they open relationships. And I know that sounds cliche, but it is exactly what they do. And the reason that people go to Central State Bank is they know it's built on trust, local decisions for local people, personal service for local people, and they just make it feel like home. So if you're starting a business, buying a car, or planning for tomorrow, Central State Bank with you every step of the way. Central State Bank, rooted in community, driven by relationships, member FDIC.
And thank you guys so much for everything you sent us over the holidays. We hope you guys had a special time. A lot of us in different forms of fashion suffered some loss throughout the month of December. This was the year I lost my dad, and we're always it's just one big close family here on the show, on the platform here, and that extends to a lot of our viewers and listeners as well.
Well, people have been asking me the last couple of days, the obligatory, how was your Christmas? And I'm just like, it was good. And I don't want to go into details because it's a lot and I don't want to, but I got a call Christmas morning that absolutely rocked me. And one of our big listeners, so one of my fraternity brothers, Brad Jackson, lives up in Decatur. I get a call. I'm going to try to push through this. I get a call on Christmas morning that his wife, Amy, had passed, 50 years old.
Oh.
I was in their wedding 25 years ago. She watched a lot. She was a school teacher, so she would watch when she could. Huge Mississippi State fan, but just out of the blue, passed away Christmas morning. And Brad Jackson's one of my best friends in the world, fraternity brother of mine, again, was in the wedding 25 years ago. And my kids had just walked in when I got the call, and I couldn't really process it. The first thing I went back to my bedroom, and I called my ex-wife, and I broke, unfortunately, the news to her, and she cried and was shattered. And we actually went to the funeral yesterday in Decatur, and I've never seen a funeral this big. And I think it was a testament to the type of person that Amy was. She was an educator for the last 2 decades, teacher up there. All the students were out. Her daughters, Mary Bradford, who I think is 23 now, and Gray, I think 20. Gray goes to Mississippi State. They both eulogized their late mom, Amy. The power, the resolve they had, the words that they said. I couldn't keep it together. Nobody there could. I saw a lot of people, unfortunately, I haven't seen in years because in this kind of setting, I mean, it's just, it's hard to believe, but she was such a freaking positive person. There's so much negativity in this world. I don't understand it. But she was a huge, huge viewer and listener, and just had to get that out. Go Mississippi State, huge Bulldog. Amy Jackson, sweet girl. I'll show you guys a picture. They were rolling the pictures yesterday at the service, and one had a Next Round hat in it. And I've got a picture of her and her entire family in Next Round gear that we roll in commercial break, and we'll show that at some point today. But just wanted to say, love you forever, and heartbreaking.
We're back in a moment on the Next Round.
Oh, watch out, lady. What are you doing? Oh, come on, man. Shouting just destroyed my whip.
Say, little man, you need to call Alexander Sonara, man.
What the hell? Yeah, Alexander Sonara trial attorney. I heard they get you paid quick, fast, and in a hurry. With 500 attorneys. And staff holding it down for clients they've represented in 50 states. 659-777-7777. Or Sonara.com. Alexander Sonara trial attorney suing the insurance company, not the individual. Call me, Alabama. Legal services provided. Available at any other provider.
This hour of The Next Round is presented by the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, now featuring 7 days of giveaways with your chance to win a share of up to $125,000. The more you visit the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, the more chances you have to win.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, you're in the red zone for every college rivalry and divisional matchup all season long. I mean, where else are the scenic views as good as your view of the game? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
At Central State Bank, we are large enough to serve you and small enough to know you. Manage your money with ease, whether it's mobile banking, hassle-free checking, competitive loans, business solutions, or personalized financial advice. We're your hometown bank with big-time service. Visit us today and experience banking made simple, because at Central State Bank, you come first.
Member FDIC. Storm season is here. Make sure you have a plan of action in place right now. Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing should be your first call when storms hit. Insurance companies love working with Storm Restoration Roofing because of Greg Nelson's name and reputation in the industry. When storms hit, call Greg Nelson. He's local, 205-542-3531. He's the home of the free no-cost roof inspection. Greg from Pell City on Facebook, 205-542-3531. It's Storm Restoration Roofing.
Hey, Lance Taylor from the Next Round to tell you about my friends at Michelson Laser Vision, located conveniently UAB Highlands. Almost 20 years ago, I went in for the procedure. Only took 12 minutes for both eyes. When I went in, I had 20/200 vision. I was legally blind. Now I have 20/15 vision, still 19 years later. Make the call today. Schedule a hassle-free consultation. 969-8100. Dr. Mark Michelson, Dr. Jen Michelson, Michelson Laser Vision. Make sure you tell them the Next Round sent you. 969-8100 or MichelsonLaserVision.com.
The beauty of the holiday is at the center of your table with the New York Butcher Shop. Their selection of USDA certified Angus prime rib roast, beef tenderloins, and fillets, as well as premium pork and lamb cuts, are the finest selections available in the market and are hand-cut just the way you want. With side dishes handmade by the professional chefs, your holiday meal is complete. Visit one of their 2 locations today, in Cahaba Heights or off Highway 119 in Greystone. Place your order today. The New York Butcher Shop. Rare quality, well-done service.
Never miss anything from the next round when you listen on demand through the podcast platform of your choice. Apple, Spotify, iHeart, or Google Podcasts. Wherever you listen, always like, follow, subscribe, and turn on automatic downloads so you catch every part of the next round. Listen anywhere in the world at any time on the Next Round podcast feed and support the show by following, subscribing, and turning on automatic downloads on any podcast platform. Thanks for always making the next round a big part of your day.
It's bow time. Tired of choosing between sweet and savory? Why not have both? Introducing Bojangles' new chicken and bowberry waffles. The bold Cajun chicken filet you love, now drizzled with a bowberry honey glaze and sandwiched between 2 warm waffles. Which means your favorite meal of the day just met your new favorite dish. And lucky for you, it's served all day. But it's only here for a limited time, so try chicken and bowberry waffles at Bojangles today. It's bow time.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, the next round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
Hour number 2 of the show. Brownie starts us off. Brownie's got the sunglasses on in California. He's out there covering the Rose Bowl. Brought to you in part by our friends at Bojangles.
Yeah, you can make it bow time at Bojangles. I saw some of the folks from Bojangles over the Christmas break, and they are super excited about what they got coming up next year. But this year ain't over yet, and there's still some football to be played, so those football watch parties are great with Bojangles. If you're going to watch the Rose Bowl or the Orange Bowl or the Cotton Bowl there at the house, get Bojangles and enjoy those great chicken tenders, those bow bites that you dip in the peach honey pepper sauce, the great sides, the biscuits, all right there at Bojangles. It is a great idea for any party at your house and a great idea for lunch or dinner tonight or breakfast on the way. As Jim said, the guys at the bag drop there at the golf course talking about that Bowberry biscuit. It is fantastic. I get it with the chicken filet in the inside there and get that icing on it. It is an incredible breakfast. I wish they had it here in L.A. I'd eat it in a heartbeat. You can get it, though, on your way to work tomorrow, or make it Bojangles for lunch or dinner or any of your football watch parties or New Year's Eve parties. Make it bow time.
Auburn gets their biggest recruit of the 2026 class. It happens because Michigan changes coaches. Brady Marchese, butchering his last name, Marchese, from Cartersville, Georgia, had picked Michigan. 4-star wide receiver, 6'1", 185. With the Michigan coaching change, he flips and now becomes the biggest recruit down at Auburn in this 2026 class. They've lost some portal receivers, and here's sort of a backfill of a good quality receiver.
Yeah, look, and this is the guy that originally was committed to Georgia and then Michigan and now Auburn. And so, apparently this guy's got a massive skill set. You wonder what he was paid to make that jump. But this is kind of the stuff that happens, and I know we'll get to it a little bit, but the announcement, Kyle Whittingham, I thought that guy was done.
Well, let's do it right now because Brownie Kyle Whittingham, 66 years old, and I think people misread me. I sent out a laughing emoji tweet because the tweet was funny. I think the hire is good. The tweet said, here it is, when you ask your grandparents for Kenny Dillingham for Christmas, but they're hard of hearing. And Kenny Dillingham and their hard of hearing sounds like Kyle Whittingham, right? So that was a funny tweet, I thought. But the actual hire itself, Brown, I'll start with you. Well, I'll go you first, LT. Kyle Whittingham, as a hire, fantastic hire. He's 66. It's not going to be long-term, but nothing's long-term in college football anymore.
Nothing is. And look, Sherrone Moore taking over, he got, not even 2 years, and a lot of that was, with calls. But I had our resident Michigan fan, Charlie Vitella, reached out to me, and he's like, what do you really think of the Whittingham hire? And I'm like, I thought he did an incredible job at Utah. It's a difficult place to win, but, he made it such a I mean, year in, year out, they were so relevant. And I told him, I think you can make an argument, and you guys can think this out loud. Best active coach to not get to a college football playoff, Kyle Whittingham.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with that argument. Just off the top of my head, I can't think of one I'd make a bigger argument for, Lance. And I know you've always been really big on this guy. Utah is a team, it seems like in our 15, 16 years together now, more often than not, when you want a sleeper team, you go to Utah because you like this guy that much.
Yeah, look, I mean, he had a losing season last year at 5-7. A lot of that was quarterback. Remember, we continued to wait in 2024 for Cam Rising to come back. Never did. But before that, you got to go back to 2013 where they were just, their third year into the Pac-12 when they were 5-7. But a lot of 10 wins, an 11 win. He snuck in there, a 13-0 back in 2008. Alabama fans will remember that one. Just did a great job with that program, and unfortunately was never able to get over that hump. Won some conference championships, but he's a hell of a coach.
Yeah, it's kind of funny, Jim. On the Monday show, the last show we did, we said this out loud. Like, if you're Michigan, why would you not just go hire Kyle Whittingham? Because as you said, Jim, like he walked away he said, I'm a free agent. I'm ready to coach more. And there are reports now that it wasn't the best exit at Utah, because the reports are, at least from one of the Utah insiders, is apparently Utah has ramped up the NIL, and Kyle Whittingham was like, man, I have won all these games and coached all these years on kind of a shoestring budget in terms of what you would compare to, an Ohio State or Texas or Alabama or somebody like that. And now all of a sudden we got a little NIL money. I'd kind of like to see what I could do at Utah. They had already decided Morgan Scalley was the replacement, and there are reports that basically they told Kyle Whittingham, you got to fish or cut bait, man. You can't just keep hanging here. We're going to lose Morgan Scalley. And Whittingham was maybe not forced out, but maybe so forced out. And it was not the best departure from Utah. And I just find that side of it very interesting for a guy that did so much for that program.
It's a great historical reference. It's exactly what happened with Bobby Bowden and Jimbo Fisher.
Yep.
Exactly what happened. They forced
those are
Bobby
obviously
Bowden.
not the NIL days. Yeah, not the NIL days, obviously. But that's 100%. They thought they were going to lose Jimbo Fisher, so they're like, Coach, you built our program. You're the only reason we are where we are, but you got to go.
Yeah, I think there's some untouchables for him too, because you got to remember, you got to factor in the years that he was with Urban Meyer before. This is a former BYU player that goes to his rival to coach, and he's there 32 years. And look, I don't have all the details like you've got there, Brown, but to not let that guy go out the way. I mean, they were 10-2 this year.
Yeah, no, it is exactly the way Brown's played it out. It's what they had Jimbo Fisher coach in waiting. They have Scalley coach in waiting. They were tired of waiting. They didn't want to lose their future coach, and they pushed the old guy out, thinking that Whittingham was going to be done maybe last year. Ends up going 10-2. Maybe it was going to be this year. And he's not ready to quit. And at age 66, I think it's a great hire for Michigan. And he's going to, by the way, bring BYU defensive coordinator Jay Hill, it looks like, to be his defensive coordinator. So he's coming in at Michigan. He's putting the staff together. Used to be with him at Utah back when they had some great defenses.
So you guys remind me the last time a coach in waiting for years worked out.
Well, Jimbo Fisher won a national championship, but then it fell apart.
Yeah. But I'm outside of that one.
Yeah.
I mean, there hasn't been one, right?
James Franklin was the coach in waiting at Maryland, and that fell apart before he could even be the head coach, right? He went and took the Vandy job.
Will Muschamp in Texas. Now, ironically, he's at Texas now.
Yeah. As defensive coordinator, but he had to leave to get the job, right? He didn't get the job at Texas.
No, he never did.
Yeah, so he had to leave. It's just a bad plan unless you're doing it one and done. Like if Kyle Whittingham, when they made, and I think a lot of us when Scalley was hired, thought Whittingham is just setting this up for one final rocking chair farewell tour, and he was going to retire at the end of the year. When that didn't happen, that's when it gets uncomfortable. And Whittingham now at Michigan, and we'll see what he's able to do there. Michigan, of course, a great program and a great hire, and that took Kalen DeBoer. And that conversation finally puts DeBoer in Michigan to rest there and opens up a window for a Kalen DeBoer extension to be announced at some point, maybe before the Rose Bowl game where Brownie is out in California, which happens on Thursday at 3 o'clock Central. We'll see if that news drops anytime before kickoff out in Pasadena. All right, show being brought to you in part today by our friends at Fractional Financing. A couple of more college football notes to get to and our four downs here in a second. Tell us about Fractional.
Yeah, Fractional Financial, our friend Rod Smallwood and that great team up there. Look, if you've got a small to mid-sized business right here in Alabama, maybe Georgia, East Tennessee, or the Carolinas, you're looking for that CFO service designed for businesses that need expertise, call our friend Rod Smallwood at Fractional Financial. Rod and his team provide expertise in cash management, budgets and projections, accounting, payroll, annual reports. Fractional Financial does it all. Not your typical contract CFO service. Fractional Financial works with clients face-to-face so they can make those informed, data-driven decisions to get the business to the next level. Contact them today. Tell them the next round sent you. 704-614-2083 or visit them online, fractionalfinancial.net.
Before we put Michigan to bed here, Sherrone Moore, does he get a second chance? Because Bobby Petrino did, Rick Pitino did. I don't think you can say Art Briles got another chance. You know, he's coached a couple of things, a couple of places, but not to the same level. Does Sherrone Moore get another chance in coaching down the road?
Depends on what the details come out. You know, Chris Beard, we remember him getting fired from Texas and, you know, the allegations by the ex-girlfriend or fiance. And, you know, there was a domestic situation in there and things kind of got clarified a little bit. We're a very forgiving society, so I would say probably, but I think it's going to be a while, and it depends on really what these details look like on the other side.
Yeah, because the initial reports, not just the inappropriate affair that he was having with a subordinate, that happens a lot, right? And that's it's wrong. It's wrong. Don't hear me say it's not wrong, but it's two consensual adults doing something that adults do, right? So, you know, that gets you fired, but you can get past that. We've seen that. To me, Jim, the more concerning part is the reports that he breaks into her house, has a knife, and says, I'm going to kill myself and make you watch, and the blood's on your hands. If I'm a school, I got to think long and hard about that situation, right? I mean, one thing happens a lot. The other one, to me, in terms of hiring a guy to lead a program or at least lead part of a program, be an assistant coach, that's a pretty alarming detail right there. I'm going to want to know more about.
Yeah, so that's the end of the Michigan saga there and their coaching change. It had been a very emotional few weeks for Michigan fans out there. Finally, they can turn the page and move forward. Do you guys know what's happening today just down the street from where we are right now?
It's what's the name of the game? I forget what the rivalry is called, but it's a game we've already seen once this year, and it's two teams with a losing record.
Yeah, it's the J-Lab Birmingham Bowl, 1 o'clock in our town today on ESPN.
I didn't realize it was today.
6 and
6
6
until this morning. No,
Yeah.
I mean until this morning when I was looking at numbers, I really didn't realize today was the Birmingham Bowl.
And not the marquee matchup. I mean that the Birmingham. I mean it's had some pretty good matchups throughout the years. 6 and 6 Georgia Southern, 5 and 7 Appalachian State. This was the bowl game that was the hardest one to fill, right? This was the one that people kept passing on. No, thank you, no, thank you. And finally, App State. And like you said, Brown, it's a rematch. Georgia Southern won earlier this year, 25-23. And so that's happening today down the street. Over the weekend, before we get to 4 downs, over the weekend, the SEC took a couple of bowl losses. We'll look back at the hot and cold of what the SEC has been in the postseason so far, brought to you by our friends at Hemp Hill Services, LT.
205-229-2090. Adam, Chad, Andrew awaiting your call. Anything comes up and home or business, whether it relates to plumbing, heating, cooling, you're going to need that heat rolling. The next couple of days it's going to get really cold in our area. They are ready to serve you. Hard to stop a train. 205-229-2090 or hemphillservices.com.
Virginia beat Missouri 13-7. Houston beat LSU 38-35. First, Missouri, 0-5 this year against teams, Brownie, with a winning record, over 500. 0-5.
Yet, what did Eli Drinkwitz get at the end of the year, Jim?
Contract extension because his name was mentioned at Penn State and Michigan
and a large raise.
Yeah.
I mean, it's remarkable. Really, this is a team.
It seems like he's doing a good job, though, Brownie. It seems like he is.
It does. I mean, those numbers are those numbers, Brown, but I mean, I look at Eli Drinkwitz. I don't think it's reached the level of Gary Pinkel, but it's definitely better than what Barry Odom did. I mean, look, they're relevant.
You know what he is, Lance? He's Tua Tagovailoa.
Just good enough, right?
He's a quarterback. Well, he's not always hurt. He's a quarterback that is good enough. You want to give him a contract, but he's not good enough to win you a championship. And I think that's what Gary Pinkel is. And we talk about it all the time in the NFL. If you've got a top 15 quarterback, you marry the guy. You want to have a top 5 quarterback, but if you got a top 15 quarterback, you have to marry the guy. And I think that's kind of what Eli Drinkwitz is.
And then LSU had a lot of opt-outs. They've had so many offensive linemen hit the portal, you can't keep up. Lane Kiffin, new coach at LSU, didn't coach in this game, but he showed up. And then, according to social media reports, left the game while it was still going on. Like he came and did the TV interview with Tom Hart and Cole Kublik in the broadcast booth, and then there's pictures of him and his family loading up, basically pulling an LT,
Lance.
pulling a Lance. That's exactly right. He's leaving before the game's over.
Yeah, but they're stroking him paychecks, right?
Yeah.
That is a little surprise, but I wonder if it's because it's Lane Kiffin and how disastrous this whole look has been. Like, that might be normal for coaches that get interviewed in some of these bowl games programs they've taken over. Maybe they come and go, and it just doesn't get reported. Maybe this is getting reported because it's Lane Kiffin. Like, I guess you could sit there for 3.5 hours. I would have gotten there late.
Well, let's see what Kyle
early.
Whittingham does with Michigan, because it feels like he's going to be on site and walking around in Michigan gear, shaking hands and kissing babies.
But it's a much smaller program. And it's a program that doesn't get a ton of attention and few people care about. But do you guys remember how awkward it was when Trent Dilfer was standing on the sidelines of the Bahamas Bowl when Bryant Vincent was coaching his final game there?
Yeah.
And, that was really awkward. And then Trent, went and did the interview in the booth just like Kiffin did. And they kept showing him on TV. So it is kind of an awkward situation when that coaching staff, a lot of that coaching staff, some of it is sticking around, but some of it is not.
With A&M losing to Miami, that's a playoff. Oklahoma lost to Bama. An SEC team had to lose there. Ole Miss got the win. Virginia beats Missouri. Houston beats LSU. I don't know where we are on this, on the perception, the SEC perception in the postseason now. It's playoffs or nothing for me. That's all I care about now. How do you feel about losing these bowl games?
Well, it'll come down to Georgia or Ole Miss against Ohio State and Alabama against Indiana. And I think that's really how this is going to be judged. And ultimately, like, if Ohio State or Indiana wins this whole thing, or maybe even Oregon, then the Big Ten's going to be like, hey, we've won it 3 consecutive times. And if Indiana wins it, hey, we've had the number 1 seed 3 consecutive years, and that number 1 seed has gone on and won it. So I think for the SEC, for there to be any discussion, like, I agree with you. I think the other games don't matter. But, Georgia, Alabama, Ole Miss, these teams have got to make a little noise right now.
Yeah, but I for a long time have been in the camp of let's don't use bowl games to determine conference superiority. Like, if anything, let's just use the playoffs to determine it, because you just said it when you were talking about LSU and Houston. Ton of opt-outs for LSU. Coaching staff that is departing for LSU. Their head coach is going to be the Ole Miss assistant coach right after that game. So I just don't think, I don't know how we determine which conference is the best conference unless you just want to say the conference with the national champion was the best conference. But I think bowl games are an inefficient way of doing it, and it's still going to happen. People are still whichever conference has the best record they're going to plant that flag, and whichever conference doesn't have the best record is going to say exactly what I'm saying. I just don't think that's an efficient way of determining what the best conference is judging it based on bowl games where you don't often have, like teams matched up. Now you've got all these opt-outs. You got kids hitting the portal. You got coaches going everywhere. I think that is a terrible way of determining which conference is the best.
We get back to Alabama, Indiana, the prep for the Rose Bowl. It's why Brownie is in California. LT will be out there with him tomorrow night, and their coverage will continue all the way through post game and also on Friday, both here on air and on our social media platforms at Next Round Live, If you're not following us on every platform out there, go do that at Next Round Live. Like, subscribe, follow, thumbs up, all those things at Next Round Live. That's where you'll get so much of our Rose Bowl coverage on the ground there, fun stuff, and the X's and O's that you want, Rose Bowl coverage, all that here on the show, but also on our social media at Next Round Live. Before we do 4 downs, tell us about the great folks at Crane ULT. You had a chance to actually operate a crane, and if you're looking to change actually professions in 2026, Crane U has the avenue for you to do that.
Yeah, make sure when you make that call to Scott and Nicole, the fine folks there at Crane U, that you tell them the guys from the Next Round sent you. Get the Crane training you need today. If you're looking for that new career or need further training to advance your current one, our friends at Crane U offer comprehensive, state-of-the-art, fully stocked training facilities for mobile cranes, overhead lifts, or forklift training. If you want to use your own equipment, not a big deal. The team at Crane U will actually come to you. On-site, on-location training offered nationwide. Make your job easier, your job site safer. Crane U also offers certification, safety inspections to ensure the safest environment possible. Classes available monthly, so call or visit our friends at Crane U. Call 855-CRANE-U or visit them online, craneu.com. See what Crane U can offer you. Again, make sure you mention the Next Round and 10% off anything from our friends at Crane U.
All right.
First down.
We'll start with first down. LT, what do you have for us, man?
Okay, hold on one sec. I got to pull this.
Oh, that's on me.
Let's do this. Danny McBride, 49 years old today. If I'll ask you ultimately better career, Danny McBride or Trey McBride from the Arizona Cardinals?
Okay, Danny McBride was in those movies with Mel Gibson, right? He was the
thinking of
Danny Glover.
Danny Glover.
Danny Glover, okay.
About 40 years older in black. Danny
That
McBride.
might have been the first time Danny Glover's ever been confused with Danny McBride.
Who's Danny McBride then?
Kenny Powers and
Oh.
Righteous Gemstones.
Yeah, okay. I don't even know who the other guy is.
Pineapple Express.
I don't even know who the other guy is. I'm going with the other guy.
Trey McBride just set a season receptions record for tight ends. He is one of the few bright spots for the Arizona Cardinals. Former Colorado State tight end, won the Mackey Award. He is an absolute stud. I think personally, he's the best tight end in football right now.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
He's trapped in a bad place though, isn't he?
Yeah, I will go Danny McBride just because he's he's getting big roles. But Trey McBride's absolute stud.
If we added Danny Glover to the discussion, does he win?
Yeah.
Hands down.
Yeah, I think so, probably.
Yeah, I was going to go Danny McBride when I thought it was Danny Glover.
Second down.
Myles Garrett, speaking of trying to set a record yesterday, the all-time sack record, single season record.
Love his magic act in Vegas.
I love though Myles Garrett coming out and saying, hey, they were so concerned about me, it's why they lost the game. It's not about him at all. Myles Garrett, 30 years old today, though. But if I asked you, better Cleveland athlete, Myles Garrett or Jim Tomei?
Ooh. Oh, I mean, in the 90s, right? Tomei was really, really good. Then you have those David Justice, Tomei Indians right there on the doorstep of a world championship.
And maybe Forster can confirm this. I think he might have gone 600 home runs. I know he's well past 500, but I think he might have gone 600.
Yeah.
Definitely a Hall of Famer. Won a championship. No, he didn't win a championship. Played in the World Series.
I think I got to go Tomei, but I mean the Indians, they didn't win a championship, but they were better than the Browns, and Tomei was the star of that team. He and Albert Bell.
612 home runs, by the way.
Yeah, that puts you in. I mean, what is that? Probably 6th or 7th all time, Jim?
Yeah, but I do think it probably is
8th.
Myles Garrett, maybe best defensive player in the league right now, and because he's playing for Cleveland, nobody talks about him.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. No, I mean, no doubt Garrett is unbelievable, but Jim Tomei is elite of elite. Tomei for me.
John Voight, 87 years old. Cannot believe how old he is. If I asked you, better John Voight movie, Heat or Deliverance?
Just for personal reasons, Heat.
Well, I was hoping personal reasons wasn't Deliverance.
Wow.
He almost said it too. I was like, oh, all right.
Not a big fan of pork.
I've seen Heat. I've seen Heat. I've never seen Deliverance. I know the jokes, but I've never seen the movie.
Oh man, you need to see Deliverance. It's literally a raw movie, but man, I mean, John Voight was so good in that. Burt Reynolds so good in that. I would go Heat. I'm so excited about Heat 2, the prequel and the sequel coming up from Michael Mann and the cast they've assembled there. It's going to be incredible. I would go Heat for entertainment value, but maybe more impactful was Deliverance.
Better to be a stuntman, Brownie, on Heat than on Deliverance.
Yes, no doubt.
Fourth down.
Mary Tyler Moore would have been 90 years old today. Ted Danson, 78. Better career, Mary Tyler Moore or Ted Danson?
Mary Tyler Moore for me, Brownie.
Ted Danson's still cashing checks, though. There's a Lance would hate it. Jim, I don't know if you'd like it or not. Jennifer and I watched it. It's an easy watch. It's a series on Netflix where he's retired, his wife has passed, and he gets hired as a detective to be a mole in a nursing home to try to solve a jewel heist.
I watched the first one, and I had to.
I watched the first year. I've not watched the second year. And my quick answer on Mary Tyler Moore, I was thinking Ted Baxter, the white-haired guy. And you said he was still cashing checks, and I was like, that guy died.
Who is Ted Baxter?
He played on Mary Tyler Moore's show.
No, you're thinking of Ted Knight.
Yeah, but he was. I think that was his name on Mary Tyler Moore was Ted Baxter.
Ted Danson was Sam in
I know.
Cheers.
I know who Ted Danson is, but in my mind, when you said Mary Tyler Moore and then you said the word Ted, I thought the white-haired guy instantly. But still, I'm still going Mary Tyler Moore. She was.
She was one of the first women to have their own show.
Yeah, Lucille Ball, Mary Tyler Moore, the two women that changed Hollywood as far as television goes. So that's why I go Mary Tyler Moore.
Yeah, Man on the Inside is the name of that on Netflix. People want to check it out. It's 30 minutes. It's not deep. It's an easy watch. I knew Lance would hate it the minute I brought it up, but it's entertaining. It's got some laughs.
It's not great. It's
not great. I didn't say it was great. It's not, it's not freaking Godfather, but it's, if you want 30 minutes to turn your brain off, you can do it with that.
Yeah, Murders in the Building better than that. Same type vibe. Yeah.
I think he might have been in Murders in the Building, or only Murders in the Building.
He was. Yeah. He
was
one
of the seasons.
Year. Yeah. Season 2.
So that's my point. He's still cashing checks even at that age. I mean, he's still acting.
Oh, he was hilarious in with Kristen Bell. They were The Good Place. That was really good.
Yeah.
He's a really, really good actor. He's a guy that used to dance and sing, did commercials early on in his career. But I would go Mary Tyler Moore, barely.
4th down.
I thought that was 4th down.
I thought that was
fourth down, right?
Yeah. Lost count.
I lost count.
Yeah, that is 4
downs. Did we have
downs.
a penalty?
That is 4 downs today. When we come back to the playoff games, including Alabama and Indiana, as Alabama travels today out where Brownie is. The show being brought to you in part by the wonderful folks at Company Distilling. LT, tell us about Company Distilling. Perfect for the holidays and a great gift if you still have to go back to work and didn't get anybody like a boss, a holiday gift. You're waiting until you got back to work. Company Distilling would be a great gift.
Everybody would love a good bottle of the whiskey that is Company Distilling. Again, if you've been waiting to try whiskey as good as the company you keep, now is your moment. Available throughout the state of Alabama. It's in Colorado, South Carolina, Florida, Texas. Ask for it by name. It is growing across our country. You can get more details at companydistilling.com/Alabama. But again, ask for it by name. Fantastic product out there, Company Distilling.
Take the next round anywhere you go with official Next Round gear. Buy yours today at nextround.store.
Oh, watch out, lady. What are you doing? Oh, wait. Come on, man. Shawty just destroyed my whip.
Say, little man, you need to call Alexander Sonara, man.
What the hell? Yeah, Alexander Sonara trial attorney. I heard they get you paid quick, fast, and in a hurry. With 500 attorneys. And staff holding it down for clients they've represented in 50 states. 659-777-7777. Or Sonara.com. Alexander Sonara trial attorney suing the insurance company, not the individual. Call me, Alabama. Legal services provided by any other provider.
Hey, Lance Taylor from the Next Round to tell you about one of our favorite places for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That is Hamburger Heaven since 1982. Hamburger Heaven has been serving Birmingham's best hamburgers, cheeseburgers, French fries, hand-spun milkshakes, and sandwiches made fresh to order. All of their ingredients are fresh and prepared daily. This includes their beef, always fresh, never frozen, hand-pattied each and every day. For breakfast, lunch, or dinner, visit any of the 4 locations, Highway 280, Irondale, Gardendale, and Homewood.
This hour of the Next Round is presented by the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, now featuring 7 days of giveaways with your chance to win a share of up to $125,000. The more you visit the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, the more chances you have to win.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, you're in the red zone for every college rivalry and divisional matchup all season long. I mean, where else are the scenic views as good as your view of the game? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
The beauty of the holiday is at the center of your table with the New York Butcher Shop. Their selection of USDA certified Angus prime rib roast, Beef tenderloins and fillets, as well as premium pork and lamb cuts, are the finest selections available in the market and are hand-cut just the way you want. With side dishes handmade by the professional chefs, your holiday meal is complete. Visit one of their 2 locations today, in Cahaba Heights or off Highway 119 in Greystone. Place your order today. The New York Butcher Shop. Rare quality, well-done service.
Hey, there's nothing worse than waking up to a plumbing problem. Don't get caught in a flooded house. Call the guys at Hemp Hill Services. Adam, Chad, and the team at Hemp Hill are the only ones I trust to fix it and fix it right the first time. Hemp Hill Services does it right and always at a fair price. For all of your plumbing, cooling, and heating needs, trust the name that Birmingham has trusted since 1954. That is Hemp Hill Services. Call now, 205-229-2090. That's 205-229-2090.
Storm season is here. Make sure you have a plan of action in place right now. Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing should be your first call when storms hit. Insurance companies love working with Storm Restoration Roofing because of Greg Nelson's name and reputation in the industry. When storms hit, call Greg Nelson. He's local, 205-542-3531. He's the home of the free no-cost roof inspection. Greg from Pell City on Facebook, 205-542-3531. It's Storm Restoration Roofing.
Next Round shirts, Next Round hoodies, and Next Round hats all in one place, nextround.store. Find your favorite piece of gear from your favorite show and put it in your rotation. You never know, you might be in one of our videos showing Next Round gear being worn all over the world. Find all of your favorite Next Round gear by visiting nextround.store. Place an order for you and that big Next Round fan in your life at nextround.store. Look your best at work, at school, at the stadium, or anywhere you go wearing Next Round gear from nextround.store.
It's bow time. Tired of choosing between sweet and savory? Why not have both? Introducing Bojangles' new chicken and bowberry waffles. The bold Cajun chicken filet you love, now drizzled with a bowberry honey glaze and sandwiched between 2 warm waffles. Which means your favorite meal of the day just met your new favorite dish. And lucky for you, it's served all day. But it's only here for a limited time, so try chicken and bowberry waffles at Bojangles today. It's bow time.
Okay, before we get back to college football, our Bojangles Tender Moment of the Day, Brownie, brought to you by Bojangles.
Yeah, I had one I meant to send to you. I hope you saw it.
Save it for tomorrow.
Bojangles. What's that?
Save it for tomorrow. I've got one here.
Okay, I will. All right. Bojangles remind you it can be bow time for those football watch parties. You got all the college football playoffs coming up. Enjoy that with Bojangles, the great hand-breaded chicken tenders, the sides, the biscuits, the tea, those Bo Bites, which are the small bite-sized that you can enjoy there. Dip it in that peach honey pepper sauce. It's a great idea with Bojangles. On your way to work tomorrow, go get that Bowberry biscuit with the chicken filet in the middle. You'll thank me for that one. It's a great way to start your day. Or for lunch or dinner, all the great fried chicken and the chicken tenders and the Bo Bites they've got right there at Bojangles. Whether it is a football watch party, a New Year's Eve party, New Year's Day party, or just breakfast, lunch, or dinner, you can always make it bow time.
Okay, don't put them up yet for us. I don't even know if you have the graphic yet or not, but I can't remember if I sent it to you or not. The Billboard albums of the year, like I'm all about. Like a couple of Taylor Swifts are on there. A couple of Morgan Wallens are on there. I'm all about this. I know some of these songs. Some of these songs I thought I was listening to 2 years ago. Billboard's top song of 2025. If you've seen it, don't answer. Let's go around the whole show.
Oh, gosh.
Can anybody take a guess on what Billboard's top song of 2025 is? Forster, have you seen it?
Yeah, I have to get it ready for the show. So, yes, I have to recuse myself of this.
Brooks, take a guess. Billboard's top song of 2025. Go.
I'm going to guess it's either, and I honestly, I don't know song title, so I'm going to go artist.
Just give me one. Don't give me an either.
I will go Benton Boone. Is that his name? The
Benson Boone.
Benson Boone. Guy that does
Benson
the flips.
Boone. Yeah. Good guess. Not the correct answer. He is number 6, though. Beautiful Things.
Overplayed, so I figured he might be.
They wear it out.
Number 6. Tyler.
I'm going to go with Bad Bunny.
YouTube, very good, by the way. Bad Bunny, not on the top 10 list. He was the number 2 best album behind Life of a Showgirl. I'll even take artist at this point.
It should be Tame Impala's Dracula. It's an incredible song. But I'll go in that same mold. I will go Olivia Rodrigo's Vampire.
Love Tame Impala.
Rodrigo.
Love Olivia Rodrigo. Rodriguez was in Lost, right? Not Lost. She was in the car movies too, right? Olivia Rodriguez? Rodrigo's the singer. He said Rodriguez, right?
No, I said Olivia Rodrigo.
Okay, well, I know that one. He said Rodrigo. I thought, anyway, never mind. No, not on
Wasn't
the
she
list.
married to Danny Glover? I thought she was married to Danny Glover.
Brownie, do you have a guess?
Was she in Lethal Weapon?
I don't know any of the names of the songs, but I'm going to guess from Life of a Showgirl, it's one of those songs.
No Taylor Swift in the top 10.
Okay, well, that's a
number 1 album, but not one of the top songs on Billboard. Die with a Smile, Lady Gaga and Bruno Mars. I feel like that's been out forever.
Trying to remember if I've heard it.
It's a slow song.
Yeah, normally when you watch the Grammys in February, you're like, how is this up for this year when this song's been out for 18 months?
Exactly. Luther from Kendrick Lamar is number 2. Bar song Tipsy. I know that song's been out for 3 years. How's that number 3?
Yeah.
I guess they still play it. Lose Control, Teddy Swims.
That's been out for 3 years.
Yeah, number 4. Birds of a Feather, 2 years at least.
No, real quick. I mean, Brown, you went to see Teddy Swims the first time where you didn't know who he was.
We were on radio, right?
We weren't on radio. My God.
No.
But I
it
mean,
was last summer, and he sang "Lose Control." Lance, to your point.
No, but it wasn't this summer. It was summer of 24.
That's what I'm saying. It was last summer. Yeah, it was not summer of 25. It was summer of 24 down at Avondale, and he sang "Lose Control." That song's been out forever.
But I will tell you this. And there's the whole list if you want to see that. But this is a tribute. Number 25, with all the new albums that came out this year, including 3 from Morgan Wallen, probably 2 are in the top 10. Of all the albums that are out, number 25 on sales in 2025, number 25 on the best album this year. Well, it's not this year. Best sales this year. Fleetwood Mac Rumors still makes the top 25. Wow. That's how good of an album that is, and still on sales.
Well,
and I guess we don't really do albums.
When did the viral video of Dreams, remember with Mick Fleetwood skateboarding?
Oh, that was during the pandemic.
Yeah, that was COVID.
Yeah. But isn't that crazy?
He had that cranberry juice.
Is Silver Springs on Rumors? Is that cut on Rumors?
I don't know.
I don't know what's all on there.
Because there's a TikTok trend. Of course, I'm the one that's going to know this. There's a TikTok trend that involves that song, and it has blown up among the younger generation. And some of them have investigated the story behind that song and have found, I can't remember the name of the concert that they did live on video where she sings it, and she is staring a hole through Mick Fleetwood.
It is,
and
yeah, it's on Rumors.
Yep.
Yeah. See, there you go. That's why I mean that just shows you if you could be lucky enough to get one of these TikTok trends, man, your career can blow back up again.
And you think to yourself, Rumors what, in the 70s?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And 79, I think, 78.
So here we are 50 years later.
But this has got to be the modern era of Spotify, right? Because, I mean, like, used to top 40 Billboard charts depended strictly on radio play.
Right.
And now you can look at, like, the number one song that I just went and looked at. It had over 3 billion streams on Spotify. That's insane.
Yeah, and you get a penny for each stream, so they made a few dollars off of that at $3 billion. All right, that's our tender moment of the day. Back to college football we go, brought to you by our friend Alexander Shunnarah. It's our spotlight today. No need to hit the open, Tyler. Alexander Shunnarah, Brownie.
Yeah, Shunnarah.com is the website to go to, Shunnarah.com. Alexander Shunnarah Trial Attorneys. They have been helping his hometown of Birmingham, and that is his hometown of Birmingham, for now 25 years. And in that time, you know, they handle personal injury claims, right? You're well aware of that. What you might not be aware of is they handle claims beyond that. Workers' claims, bad drug and device claims, disability claims, all those right there under the same roof with Alexander Shannara Trial Attorneys. When you need an attorney for any reason, Shannara.com, that is the website, Shannara.com. Alexander Shannara Trial Attorneys at Shannara.com.
And again, if you start thinning out, our man, Dr. Beckenstein, best in the business. I do that non-invasive treatment 3 times a week, 30 minutes each time on the couch. That is it. Did it last night. 205-319-0316. Tell them the next round sent you. Stop wasting money and critical time while you're losing hair on treatments that aren't working for you. Go see Dr. B and find out what will work for you. Men and women ordering products online don't even know if they work. T3's got that new test. It's easy, painless, affordable, takes seconds to perform. It's going to show which medicines and compounds will specifically work for your hair loss. Again, 205-319-0316. Tell them the next round sent you. For more information, T3hair.net.
Brown, out in California for our Rose Bowl coverage. What's unique about this Rose Bowl is Kalen DeBoer, Kane Womack, that coaching staff at Alabama used to coach at Indiana. Curt Cignetti, now the head coach at Indiana, used to coach at Alabama.
Hey, Coach, you spent several seasons in Tuscaloosa before becoming a head coach. I'm wondering what your memories are of your time with Alabama and what the program means to you.
Yeah, we had a great experience at Alabama. It was a real important part of my journey. Learned a lot from Coach Saban in terms of organization, standards, stock and complacency. I wouldn't be where I am today without my time under Nick. My family really enjoyed Tuscaloosa. We had great years there. Of course, we took over a team. We were 7-6 our first year, and 12-0 the next year in regular season. Fell short in the SEC game to Tebow and Florida and Urban, and then had a rematch the next year and beat them, and won the national championship out at the Rose Bowl. So we had 4 really good years there, and then began another part of our life.
Yeah. So I'll start with you, Brown, and then I want you to chime in, LT. Of all the people that we put in the Saban coaching tree, is this the guy that is most like Saban? You first, Brown.
Well, we used to say that, or at least I used to hear that about Billy Napier. When he was at Lafayette, everybody was like, hey, listen, if Kirby is obviously Saban's twin. Everybody knew that. But if you want the guy that is the most like Saban, Billy Napier is the guy you hire. And I think maybe we missed on that. Maybe it was Curt Cignetti. Saban famously said on game day, the one thing you didn't learn from me is how much you know what you talk. And, Cignetti, he runs his mouth now. He's a brash guy, and you never really saw that out of Nick Saban. So there are some differences there. But it is pretty wild when you look at this playoffs, the Saban staff handprints on this playoffs from Lane Kiffin to Dan Lanning to Mario Cristobal to Curt Cignetti. I mean, those staffs in Tuscaloosa produced, and Kirby Smart, of course, still in this playoffs, produced a lot of great guys. But the guy that seems, other than Kirby, to be doing it the most like Nick Saban is Curt Cignetti.
Now, I'm prepared to say Cignetti is the second best coach to come out from under Nick Saban. I mean, just because of the credentials, the resume right now that Kirby Smart's got with multiple national championships, you can't put him there yet. But think about this. So in Saban's final year, where they lost in overtime to eventual champion Michigan just 2 years ago in this Rose Bowl, Indiana was 3-9. And then Cignetti takes over this program from JMU and goes 11-1, gets them to a college football playoff. Then they top that in year 2. They're undefeated right now, the number 1 overall seed with a Heisman Trophy winning quarterback. Like, as good as Saban, the Saban is the best to ever do it, maybe in any sport. I don't know if he could have done this with Indiana this quick. I really don't.
Brownie?
I had somebody ask me this question, Lance, and it is a legitimate question. Like, everybody talks about the transfer portal, and this guy is doing it now. His quarterbacks haven't come from here, but everybody points out, like, this guy did it with, like, 20-some-odd guys from James Madison. Like, how did he do this, really? How did he do it? Now, one answer to how he did it is he's undefeated in the portal when it comes to quarterback. He is 2 for 2 going and finding a quality quarterback out of the portal, and we'll see if he can make it 3 for 3. But it is a legitimate question. Like, everybody looks for all these transfer portal guys. He just took like 20 from James Madison, and all of a sudden they're a legitimately good Power 5 or Power 4 team. It really doesn't make sense.
But he develops these guys. You look at right now, Pro Football Focus, they have got top 10 players at the offensive tackle position, the quarterback position, the receiver position, and the cornerback position.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they've got talent all over the field, and these aren't your typical 5 stars. I think there was a graphic that came out a couple of weeks ago, and all the playoff teams only behind or in front of James Madison and Tulane. The next, when it came to overall, star rating on the recruitments, was Indiana. I think they were 10th of the 12.
Yeah. By the way, when you see that practice video right there, the Indiana indoor practice facility, are their facilities better than I think they are? I mean, it took a while for some SEC schools to finally get an indoor facility. Pretty cool when they're at Indiana. At least they're inside during some bad weather.
Well, and by the way, real quick on the quarterback portal, like Curtis Rourke was good, but he was experienced, Brown, to your point, in year one under Cignetti, so he was just solid. But then you get an elite quarterback. For him to be able to identify Mendoza when, I think Mendoza would have gone a lot of places, again, much like his high school recruitment. He wasn't recruited heavily in the transfer portal, so Cignetti's got an eye for talent.
Yeah. I mean, not to pile on. I don't mean this to pile on, but just to show you how tricky it can be. Like Hugh Freeze was 0 for 2. And, it cost him his job. Curt Cignetti's 2-0, and he's got a chance to win a national championship.
Yeah.
So, it just shows you the difference when you can actually identify that talent in the portal.
Yeah, let's look at the portal quarterbacks after LT tells us about our friends at Inverness Country Club. Great gift for yourself and your family for 2026.
Yeah, look, you play a lot of golf. It would make sense for you at least to inquire with our friend Aaron and see what the costs are of a membership at the Inverness Country Club, because they've got memberships that fit everyone in the family. From the social for the wife, it'll be, before you know it, that they'll be able to enjoy the resort-style pool complex, full-service cabana and bar, live music on Friday nights, the Sunday brunch, the pickleball, of course, the golf, that beautiful course. Childcare, also a big plus. Best days happen in Inverness. To take a tour of the club, call Aaron. Tell the next round sent you, 205-991-8608 or online, iccalabama.com.
Okay, before we look at the portal quarterbacks, Brownie, I want to ask you, in the chat room, people want to know temperature right now on the deck there in Venice Beach in L.A. It's 8:50 local time there.
It is 8:50 local time, and it is 58 degrees.
58 degrees.
I think the high today is 67. It's warmed up considerably. When we started the show, it was fairly cold out here.
Yeah.
But it has warmed up considerably as the sun has risen in the east behind me here. And I think the high today is 67. This is the warmest day this week. Again, I'll warn people that are coming out. The temperature drops from today on, and rain moves in. The high on game day is only 60, and I think it's actually going to start in the 50s at the start of the game and climb to the 60s with a chance of rain.
Yeah, and I want to remind you, man, it was like 58 and raining when I was at that Iowa-USC game, and it felt like it was in the 30s. It was just it's going to be miserable for people going to the Rose Bowl.
Yeah,
it's not going to be fun. And today the high is 67. It's the warmest day of the week, so it is only going to get worse from here.
So Brooks and Brown have got our credentials. I'm going to be getting a ticket. I just had a random guy I ran into at Innisfree for Tennessee. A guy named Brad reached out and he was like, "I got 2 if you want them." So
for free.
Yeah, for free.
Yeah.
So that's how hot this ticket is. But I do appreciate it.
It's going to be an easy ticket. Easy ticket. Easy. By the way, can I say something real quick, Jim? I know we got something to do here.
Yeah. Klatt at the top of the hour, yes.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
No. I want to give a shout out to Kim Shoemaker. Kim runs the Hudson News right there at the Sea Gates at Birmingham Airport. And I stepped in to get a cold beverage. She said, "Hey, next round, Ryan Brown." I was like, "Hey, nice to meet you." She watches the show every single day, massive Alabama fan. And she's like, "You guys need to remind everyone this is the 100th anniversary of Alabama's first Rose Bowl." She's like, "I'm trying to educate all these youngins about the Rose Bowl history of Alabama, and this is the 100th anniversary of their first Rose Bowl." And then she said, "They've played it more than Indiana." And I'm like, "This is only Indiana's second one." So Kim Shoemaker, massive fan of the show right there at Birmingham Airport. We appreciate her support. But important reminder, this will be the 100th year of the 100th anniversary of Alabama's first Rose Bowl.
Have you done that graphic yet, Brooks, on how many more Rose Bowls Alabama's played in than teams in the Big Ten or Pac-12? That's a good graphic. You haven't done that one yet.
Yeah.
I do know. I made the side-by-side all-time history comparison between Alabama and Indiana. This is Alabama's 9th appearance, Indiana's 2nd.
I saw that one. I'd like to know, because you used to remember it was only the Big Ten and Pac-12. I'd like to know how many more Rose Bowls Alabama's gone to than how many Big Ten teams? Because you got to think they've been to more than maybe Michigan State?
Michigan State, Northwestern.
I would bet. Yeah, I'd bet offhand only USC, Ohio State, and Michigan have more.
Iowa will be in the mix, I think.
Yeah, I think.
All right, I got it for you here. I
Okay.
can give you some notable teams that they now, with their 9th appearance, have more games.
And Washington will be in the mix.
Oregon and California have 8. Iowa, Michigan State, Illinois, Penn State, who was an independent for a long time, so have been in 4 since being in the Big Ten. Oregon State, Washington State, Arizona State, Minnesota, Northwestern, Purdue, Utah, Indiana, and Oregon. I guess is on here.
So which ones have
technically
more?
this is Oregon's 9th. Has been in it 9 times.
So USC, UCLA, who were in the Pac-12, now in the Big Ten. Washington, Ohio State, Michigan, are they the only ones that have more than 9?
USC has 34, Michigan 21, Ohio State 17, Washington 15, Stanford with 14.
Oh, sneaky Stanford.
Wisconsin has
Stanford,
10, and UCLA has 12. And I was incorrect. Oregon has 8 as a Pac-12 team and 1 as a Big Ten. They broke it down weird because they.
So Alabama moves into a tie with Oregon. How about that?
Hey, so back to, and that is pretty crazy, ironically, 100 years to the date of January 1st, 1926, when they beat Washington 2019. They call it the game that changed what, football in the South?
Southern football, yeah. Yeah, because it was the first Southern team to ever be allowed to play in the Rose Bowl, and it made it legit. So you're welcome, South. From Alabama.
Boy, and when you look at that graphic on teams in the college football playoff and you get basically to Texas, there is nothing west of Texas outside of Oregon.
Outside of Oregon.
I know, it's crazy.
Portal quarterbacks that are out there right now, On3 ranks them. I don't agree with their ranking, but Auburn's in the business. You mentioned Indiana's in the business. They've got Sam Levitt, just for those that are listening and or can't see the graphic like Brownie. Sam Levitt is number 1 according to On3 in the portal right now. Mestamaker of North Texas, number 2. Interesting for Auburn fans, Byram Brown of South Florida, who's in the portal, yet to commit to Auburn, expected to, number 3. Josh Hoover, TCU, is 4. Dylan Raiola, Nebraska, some interest in Louisville there, number 5. Brendan Sorsby way down at 6. DJ Lagway, 7. Kenny Minchie of Notre Dame is 8th. Can you believe Rocco Becht and Alex Mansky, both of Iowa State, are 9 and 10? Rocco Becht, number 9 on this list?
Yeah,
you agree?
He had a bad year. I agree with 1 and 2. I think Mestamaker is that good. I would probably put Josh Hoover at 3 over Byram Brown. Sorsby.
Give me Josh Hoover.
Yeah, Sorsby might not even be a transfer quarterback. There's a good chance. I've seen him fall into the first round of this NFL draft. So,
wow.
So if you're Sorsby, I think it's a decision to be made. I think Sorsby's really good, too. I would have him in the top 5. I probably would have Sorsby at 4 and Byram Brown at 5.
Brown, is there an Indiana quarterback on that list, you think? Josh Hoover, maybe?
I like me some Josh Hoover. Yeah. Like if I'm in the quarterback. Now, look, Auburn, obviously Byram Brown with a connection to Alex Golish, that's where they would look. But aside from that, give me Josh Hoover. I really like that guy from TCU.
Yeah, Sam Levitt listed at number 1 there. It'll be interesting to see where he ends up in the portal. By the way, next SEC team in action is Tennessee. They're likely shopping as well, maybe. I don't know. Illinois in the next game in Nashville. That's tomorrow. Vandy gets Iowa. Texas gets Michigan on Wednesday. And did you guys know that Mississippi State is in a bowl game? They took a bid.
Yep.
They're playing Wake Forest in the Mayo Bowl coming up on Friday. All right, when we come back, Joel Klatt joins the show. That's being brought to you by our friends at CPAP Plus. Sleep Home Alabama, LT. It's an opportunity to finally in 2026 to get a restful night's sleep.
Yeah, again, our friends Woody and Bo O'Neill, not Bo O'Neill, what am I saying? Our friends Woody and Joe O'Neill.
Better than Woody and Poochie.
Yeah, true. They want to remind you got this promotion going on for the next couple of days. It's the O'Neill Medical CPAP Plus Show Your Score promotion. Just stop by one of their Birmingham locations, Pelham, Trussville, Inverness on Highway 280. No appointment needed. Show that ResMed My Air Sleep Score. Automatically entered to win a brand new ResMed Air Mini Travel CPAP worth $900. The Show Your Score raffle ends the 31st. You've only got a couple of days. Get all the details. O'NeillMed.com. That is ONEAL med.com.
Follow Brownie on Twitter and Instagram at Ryan Brown Live.
We interrupt this program for breaking news from the gators of the litigation situation. Insurance companies have a playbook. I repeat, insurance companies have a playbook. Deny, delay, defend. They know which law firms will fold and settle cheap. They are not on your side. That's corporate greed at work. At Alexander Sonara Trial Attorney, we fight back. We have the resources, the muscle, and the will to take them on. And you don't pay a dime unless we win. They fight dirty. We fight hard. Call 659-777-7777 or hit up alexwins.law.
Physical office location, Birmingham. This hour of the next round is presented by the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, now featuring 7 days of giveaways with your chance to win a share of up to $125,000. The more you visit the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, the more chances you have to win.
There's only one Champy's world-famous fried chicken. Poor boy's tenders, full fried chicken plates, and a little bit of the Mississippi Delta with chicken on a stick and hot tamales. On your way to or from the big game on Highway 119 in Alabaster, stop by Champy's Chicken.
Hey, Lance Taylor from the next round to tell you about one of our favorite places for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That is Hamburger Heaven since 1982. Hamburger Heaven has been serving Birmingham's best hamburgers, cheeseburgers, French fries, hand-spun milkshakes, and sandwiches made fresh to order. All of their ingredients are fresh and prepared daily. This includes their beef, always fresh, never frozen, hand-pattied each and every day. For breakfast, lunch, or dinner, visit any of the 4 locations, Highway 280, Irondale, Gardendale, and Homewood.
Storm season is here. Make sure you have a plan of action in place right now. Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing should be your first call when storms hit. Insurance companies love working with Storm Restoration Roofing because of Greg Nelson's name and reputation in the industry. When storms hit, call Greg Nelson. He's local, 205-542-3531. He's the home of the free no-cost roof inspection. Greg from Pell City on Facebook, 205-542-3531. It's Storm Restoration Roofing.
The beauty of the holiday is at the center of your table with the New York Butcher Shop. Their selection of USDA certified Angus prime rib roast, beef tenderloins, and fillets, as well as premium pork and lamb cuts, are the finest selections available in the market and are hand-cut just the way you want. With side dishes handmade by their professional chefs, your holiday meal is complete. Visit one of their 2 locations today, in Cahaba Heights or off Highway 119 in Greystone. Place your order today. The New York Butcher Shop. Rare quality, well-done service.
Never miss anything from the next round when you listen on demand through the podcast platform of your choice, Apple, Spotify, iHeart, or Google Podcast, wherever you listen. Always like, follow, subscribe, turn on automatic download so you can catch every part of the next round. Listen anywhere in the world, anytime on the Next Round podcast feed, and support the show by following, subscribing, and turning on automatic downloads on any podcast platform. Listen anywhere in the world, anytime on the Next Round podcast feed. Thanks for always making the next round a big part of your day. Hey, there's nothing worse than waking up to a plumbing problem. Don't get caught in a flooded house. Call the guys at Hemp Hill Services. Adam, Chad, and the team at Hemp Hill are the only ones I trust to fix it and fix it right the first time. Hemp Hill Services does it right and always at a fair price. For all of your plumbing, cooling, and heating needs, trust the name that Birmingham has trusted since 1954. That is Hemp Hill Services. Call now, 205-229-2090. That's 205-229-2090.
It's bow time. Tired of choosing between sweet and savory? Why not have both? Introducing Bojangles' new chicken and bowberry waffles. The bold Cajun chicken filet you love, now drizzled with a bowberry honey glaze and sandwiched between 2 warm waffles. Which means your favorite meal of the day just met your new favorite dish. And lucky for you, it's served all day. But it's only here for a limited time, so try chicken and bowberry waffles at Bojangles today. It's bow time.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, the next round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
Brown will rejoin us from California coming up at the bottom of the hour. Joel Klatt in just a second. This hour, before we give you breaking news, brought to you by our friends at Champy's, world-famous fried chicken, champyschicken.com, Highway 119 in Alabaster. Not only did I go there for my birthday cake with my mom on my birthday, I for some reason I was by there again right before Christmas and hung out with Sterling at the bar there. Oh, I swung by a little gift from us up here to Sterling. That's why I was there, and sat down and had hand-cut chicken fingers and thought of Tyler. Man, the chicken finger basket comes out 4 chicken fingers the size of your head. They're so big. Hand-cut chicken fingers, just great food. Highway 119 in Alabaster, champieschicken.com. Here's the breaking news, and Auburn fans have been dreading this one. Cam Coleman is in the portal now, or will when it opens up. The Auburn star wide receiver, according to Hayes Fawcett, entering the portal per On3 Sports. 2 seasons. He's totaled 1,300 yards, 13 touchdowns. Immediately becomes the top wide receiver in the portal, according to On3 Sports. LT has some thoughts on that. I ask, is he that good? To which LT cussed me out in the commercial break and said, "Are you freaking kidding me?"
I just think he's next level. You got a taste of it against Vanderbilt. I know Forster, our resident Auburn fan back there, like, this is an absolute disaster for this guy to enter the portal because he is the most talented player on that roster. I think if he goes to the right situation, which I assume he will, whatever's right for him. But, like, if he was to go to Ohio State, I know Jeremiah Smith's going to be on the other side because he's got to play another year. I just can't, like, the ceiling for this guy at 6'3", his hands, his speed, and I agree with this. I've heard people say he could be the next George Pickens. And maybe there's a little bit about Pickens not being a major impact college guy, but what Pickens is doing right now for the Dallas Cowboys, next level, a top 5 wide receiver right now. Cam Coleman is a first-round guy, and he is going to be a huge difference maker. And I'm just guessing right now, and I have no inside knowledge, I think he'll end up in Tuscaloosa.
Wow. So your projection with no inside knowledge is that you think he ends up in Tuscaloosa.
I think it came down to Auburn and Texas A&M, if I'm right on his recruitment. Alabama was, Forster said, yeah. Alabama was very much in the mix, though, early on. I think the Derek Nix angle could be something to watch for.
Yeah, he was actually, before he flipped to Auburn, he was a Texas A&M commit.
I do know that Malcolm Simmons, also in the portal, some fans, I think he posted at some point, Roll Tide over the weekend, jabbing with some fans or something, so that hasn't set well. How come, Forster, you chime in here if you want, how come instantly I think LSU?
Well, I mean, Lane Kiffin's smart. I mean, and I don't know. I mean, is it highest bidder now?
Oh, of course it is, right? But I would imagine if you're Cam Coleman, though.
But if you're Auburn, you don't let Cam Coleman get away, right? Like, you're going to be our highest paid player on this roster.
Well, it's been well publicized. They're trying to do this new NIL system. Now, this Cam wouldn't fall into this because he is a proven commodity, but they're not going to front load their NIL deals, and that's one of the things that they're trying to do. Sort of the Kirby Smart NIL system, where they pay proven players once you get on campus. So Cam is a proven player; he wouldn't fall into this. I asked that question half joking, how good is he? Because through 2 years of the quarterback situation, he's got 1,300 yards and 13 touchdowns.
Yeah, I mean, it's almost like Calvin Johnson when he played at Georgia Tech.
That's right.
Never utilized, but you knew this guy just had this skill set that was, just next level. And I think that's what you've got with Cam Coleman. And, to me, he's proven enough because when you've had decent quarterback play, you've seen what this guy's been able to do.
Yeah, so if you know football, you know he's a great receiver like you were talking about. So he'll be a big get for somebody. He could always go back to Auburn if this ends up being a leverage play, but that's big news today. Cam Coleman in the portal, according to On3 Sports. Joel Klatt scheduled to be with us momentarily. If he hops on with us, we'll jump to that. Show being brought to you by our friends at Michelson Laser Vision. As we look to the future with Cam Coleman now in the portal and several others from Auburn, Michelson Laser Vision will help you see clearly what the future looks like.
Yeah, one of the things over the last 20 years that I've gotten really excited about is talking about the LASIK procedure, because I have sent so many different people that wore contacts or glasses and they really didn't know much about the LASIK space, and having these different discussions, and to all of them, they just love the decision to go see Dr. Mark Michelson or Dr. Jen Michelson. They are the best in the business. Again, I had the 2200 vision. I was legally blind without the aid of contacts. After the procedure, 2015 vision, better than 2020. 205-969-8100. Ask for Amy. Tell her the next round sent you. She's going to hook you up with a hassle-free consultation. 0 to lose to find out if LASIK is right for you. For more information, michelsonlaservision.com.
12 good minutes here now with our buddy Joel Klatt from Fox Sports. We're getting ready for the Rose Bowl. Brownie's out in California, so he's not part of the interview here, Joel. So you're on the Shannara hotline, and I'll start with you. When I look at Indiana's defense, their numbers pop. Alabama's coming off a playoff win with Oklahoma. How much does Indiana and Oklahoma's defense look alike? Do they sort of attack you the same way with that pass rush off the edge? Is there any similarities between the defense Alabama just saw and the one they're about to see?
Not a ton. Indiana is very unique. Oklahoma will throw a lot of defense at you, a lot of schematics at you, creativity, late calls. Venables loves to get the call in as late as possible. Guys kind of standing around until the last minute. Indiana is much more system oriented. The continuity that Cignetti and his assistants have had is really unmatched. Brian Haynes, the defensive coordinator, goes all the way back to Elon with him. So they've been together for a decade plus. Same thing with his offensive coordinator, Mike Shanahan. So the continuity within the schematics of what they do is pretty sound. And on the defensive side for Indiana, they're really led by a core group of guys that came from JMU. So they're in their third and fourth year in this system under Brian Haynes. Guys like Aiden Fisher, the linebacker, really good player. The key to their whole defense, though, is their corner, D'Angelo Pons. He's an excellent player, and what they do is they like to rotate away from him and play a ton of zone coverage, and they flood the other areas of the field with more numbers and allow him to match up. And he does a great job of it. He's not a huge guy. He's from Miami. He actually went to high school with Jeremiah Smith. And that's what they do. And then they're very elusive up front. So everything is a twist or a game or a stunt. Everything is a zone pressure, a simulated pressure. And here's the thing is they don't look like world beaters. And we'll see how they play without Stephen Daly. They're really solid defensive linemen. But they create a lot of pressure. If you look at Oregon and Ohio State, those two teams gave up virtually no pressure and no sacks the entire season, except for Indiana.
Wow.
And Indiana got home both times, Dante Moore and Julian Sayin. And when I watch the film of Bama, a couple of things stick out offensively. Number one, guys, Ty Simpson is so good. He does not get enough credit. And I know that sounds crazy to say because everyone knows that, the passing game is kind of the whole offense. He is so good. His footwork is impeccable. He plays on time. He's accurate. The offensive line for Alabama is not very good. They give up way too much pressure. They don't handle stunts very well. This is just from the film, right? This is just from the film. They obviously don't run the football well. Basically, half of their rushing yards are on that 130-yard run against OU. And it's all Ty. And it's going to be difficult because he's going to face a ton of zone defense with layers. It's tough. The safeties disguise really well. They tricked Julian Sayin into an interception. Ty Simpson is going to have to play his best game if Alabama wants to beat Indiana.
So we talk brands, and from Christmas parties to different sports bars, Klatt, I was out talking to Alabama fans over the last week. Plus, Alabama, the third most wins in the history of the FBS. Indiana, the second most losses. I still talk to these Alabama fans, and they're like, hey, I'm telling you, man.
By the way, they just got out of the cellar this year.
I saw that.
They just got out of the cellar this year. But they finally passed Northwestern, but keep going.
But I mean, this is and I remember bringing it up to you the first time, ironically, that it really jumped out to me was last year in late September, Indiana was playing in the Rose Bowl against UCLA, and I was like, this team is so disciplined. Their attention to detail and just how they played together. So it really popped. And I remember asking you on that Monday back then about this Indiana team. Nobody was talking about them. They just get better and better and better. And because of the brand, Alabama fans are like, they don't have the athletes to match up with us. Pro Football Focus, they've got top 10 draft picks at quarterback, obviously, at wide receiver, at cornerback, at offensive tackle. I mean, they've got talent all over the place. Cignetti knows how to develop this talent. But for Alabama fans that won't believe us when we say it, I think you've got a ton more credibility than us.
I don't know about that.
Well,
Not with your fans.
This Indiana team is next level legit, right?
I mean, guys, they're the number one team in the country. They've got 2 of the best wins overall. In fact, in this matchup, you have the 3 overall best wins in all of college football this season. Bama on the road against Georgia, Indiana at Oregon, and Indiana over Ohio State. You know, these are the teams that have done it against the best of the best in the toughest locations. Indiana, they might not blow you away with the stars next to their names as it relates to where they were rated coming out of high school. But rest assured, when it comes to the NFL draft, there's a ton of these Indiana players that are going to get drafted, a ton. And Curt Cignetti constantly preaches this, I think, this really simple and yet incredibly effective mentality that he uses in evaluation, which is production over potential. And he targeted specifically guys at the mid-major conferences that he could get, last year and in the transfer portal this year, that were all conference caliber players. And here's what I'll tell you about college football. The guys that can be really productive all conference, MAC, American, Sun Belt conference players, they can play in the FBS. They can not only the FBS, but in the Power Four. They can play at that level. And those are the type of players that they have. And they have a chip on their shoulder. Elijah Surratt is an incredible wide receiver. If Omar Cooper is healthy, look at what he did at the back of the end zone against Penn State. They've got, Charlie Becker is a legit threat on the outside. They're 3 deep at wide receiver, 2 deep at running back. Their offensive line is solid. They can run the football close to 300 yards per game in 6 or 7 different games. So this idea that it's like, well, it's just this upstart Indiana team. No. They're the number 1 seed for a reason, for a reason. And candidly, this is where I think I'll lose your fans. Like, it would be a large upset if Alabama won this game. They are not as good of a team as Indiana. They are not as sound on the defensive side. They're not as sound on the offensive side. They're not as balanced. It's, the quarterback play is equaled out because Mendoza is so good. He's every bit Simpson's equal. So Alabama is used to playing in games 98% of the time where they unequivocally have the better team as opposed to across the field. That is not the case this week in the Rose Bowl against Indiana. I know that's wild to hear.
So what is the path to victory for Alabama? How do they win? Because they are a 7-point dog, 6.5-point dog, and that line's not moving. How do they win? What happens?
So the few games where Indiana has been in dogfights, you have to stop their run game. Have to. Like, it's imperative. Oregon did a decent job against their run game. Iowa did a decent job against their run game. Penn State and Ohio State. And those were the games where it was tight. The reason is that their offense in its simplest form is predicated on numbers. And what they like to do is they like to attack the simplicity of the defensive structure. If you have 1 safety back, that means that you've got run ratios as a defense. They'll throw the football, and they do it via the RPO, and Mendoza is really good at it. And they're very disciplined at doing it. If you put 2 safeties back, they're going to run the heck out of the ball. And Roman Hemby is a heck of a player, and Kalon Black is a heck of a player, and they'll run the heck out of the football if you keep 2 safeties back. So there's this constant chess match of, we're going to take what you give us. And they're very disciplined in that, and that's what makes them so difficult to stop. So you have to be able to stop the run first and foremost, and it would be preferable if you could do that with 2 safeties back. Because they don't want to throw the football into an open coverage. I say open with 2 safeties means the middle of the field is open. That's number 1. It doesn't even matter what happens on the offensive side for Alabama. If you can't stop Indiana from running the football, you won't win the game. So that's number 1. Number 2 is find a way to protect Ty Simpson. And I don't think it's going to be finding a rabbit out of a hat, finding a run game all of a sudden. Not against this Indiana defense. They're too good. They're too stout up front. They move too much. They're too slippery. So it's about protection and finding a way to keep Ty Simpson clean. If he's clean, then you've got a chance to move the football. And I do think that there are some matchups in that Indiana secondary that Alabama can take advantage of. You got to attack their safeties and not the edges. So that's the blueprint for me. I know that that's fairly specific, in a mundane way, but stopping the run with 2 safeties back and protecting the quarterback and giving Ty Simpson the ability to attack the safeties with matchups, not the corners with matchups, is the way that Alabama needs to go about this game.
Okay, just because you said it would be a big upset, and look, Indiana is a 7-point favorite right now, list these upsets in order of biggest to not shocking. So Alabama getting 7 against Indiana, Ole Miss getting 6.5 against Georgia, Miami getting 10 against Ohio State.
I think the most shocking one for me would be if Ole Miss were to beat Georgia, just because of the circumstances. This feels like a air out of the balloon game for Ole Miss. This feels like, if Georgia is able to get out there and play Georgia football in the first quarter, Ole Miss is going to look around and be like, oh, okay, like I think this is it, boys. So that one for me. And Georgia in the last month, and I think you guys would agree with this, they've turned back into Georgia.
Yeah.
Their defense is playing outstanding. They've finally gotten after the quarterback. 12 of their 20 sacks have come in the last 5 games. All these things that you would expect from Georgia, we're starting to see in the last bit of the season. So that one. The next one would be Miami and Ohio State. I look at Miami and I at the risk of, I do this all the time on this show. I think that OU and A&M were a bit overrated. And because of that, I think Miami might have a false sense of confidence. Ohio State is very good, very good. And they are very balanced. And Mark Fletcher is not going to all of a sudden run for a ton of yards against Ohio State. Like, that's not a thing. And so now it becomes like, well, can a true freshman in Malachi Toney and Carson Beck throw the ball for 300 yards against Ohio State? The answer is no. The answer is no. So those two, Ole Miss, Georgia, and Miami, Ohio State.
We want to be really good with your time. We know you got a packed schedule here. So I want to ask you, word is breaking that Marcus Freeman is coming back to Notre Dame. Not going to go, so he's going to sign up at Notre Dame 2026. How big is that for college football and for Notre Dame? And your thoughts on Kyle Whittingham at Michigan?
Love that Marcus is going to stay. I will maintain that while there are a lot of problems in college football, I think there's 2 things that you have access to in college football as a coach that you do not have access to in the National Football League. And that is, the 2 things are influence and legacy. In the National Football League, you are a mercenary. You're going to coach it in every organization, and the people that get the credit if you ultimately win is the quarterback and maybe the owner. They don't typically build statues. Vince Lombardi, that era is done. Now you look at it, and Bill Belichick's at North Carolina, and so I don't think that you have the opportunity for legacy and impact your coaching professionals that are, grown men. And I don't think that you have the opportunity for the influence that you potentially do at the college level. So I'm really glad that Marcus Freeman is staying in college. I think we need coaches like Marcus Freeman, and he's building something very special. They've recruited very well. Notre Dame has turned back into what they were in the late 80s, guys, which is a perennial top 5 team. I think you would agree with that. I think it's better with Notre Dame like this in the standings, top 10 team in college football. And then Kyle Whittingham, real quickly, and I want to make sure I get this right, because I think that there were 4 huge challenges that Michigan had, massive challenges in this deal. The timing, twofold. 1, they wanted to work quickly to beat the transfer portal January 2nd. And 2, the timing of the coaching carousel, they were behind it. So the timing, those 2 challenges timing-wise were huge. Then they have this juxtaposition between trying to retain their play identity and blueprint, which has been very successful, this toughness and physicality that they have hung their hat on and won a national championship, beat Ohio State 4 straight times. They wanted to retain that mentality and blueprint of play and, at the same time, totally reset the culture of the personnel within the building. It's like trying to achieve all 4 of those is incredibly difficult. And they got a guy that checks off every single box. So I got to tell you, without him coaching a game, I think that was a remarkable hire. And shame on me for making the assumption that Kyle was done at Utah. And this is why, and I've always said this, and I think I've said this on your show when LSU opened up or Penn State opened up, I always said, like, listen, force guys to tell you no. Call Nick Saban, force him to tell you no. Call Urban Meyer, force him to tell you no. Chris Peterson, so on and so forth. And the reason is that you can't make an assumption that they will. Force them to say no. And the assumption that I made wrongly was that Kyle was going to step down and go ski and be with his grandkids and, right off into the sunset. And Michigan didn't take that assumption, and they stepped in and they asked him. And he said, yeah, I'd love that one more challenge. I'd love to go to a place where I don't feel like I'm fighting uphill. I'd love to go to a place that is resourced and in a position where they can potentially win a national championship and go to the college football playoff. So for him, I'm excited because I think he's an incredible coach. And for Michigan, I think that they did about as good a job as you can possibly do under the circumstances, hiring a guy that fits them, that resets the culture, that is there before January 2nd, and is on the back end of the coaching carousel. I don't care that he's 66. Nick Saban won a championship at 65, 69. He won SEC championships in his 70s. Kyle Whittingham is as fit and energetic as any coach that I was around all year. And so I don't care that he's 66. And I think Michigan did a heck of a job with this one.
Hey, one more, and we'll get you out quickly, though, because the game we didn't touch on. When I've seen national predictions, who's going to win the national championship, I think I see more Georgia than anything, then Ohio State, then Indiana. Nobody's talking about the 11 o'clock early game on the first, Oregon and Texas Tech. And that's a tough game to handicap, but whoever comes out of there, do you give them any shot at beating Alabama, Indiana, and playing for a national championship?
Sure. Yeah, that's a heck of a game. I think both of those teams are very good, very good. I think Indiana or Bama. Listen, I don't think Alabama's going to beat Indiana, but those two teams would have their hands completely full because Texas Tech plays really solid defense. Oregon can play great defense. They run the football. They can be explosive. Tech can be explosive. They're balanced. The one thing that I would just throw out there is that Oregon's going to look across the field in the Orange Bowl, which is so dumb. We're playing Texas Tech, Oregon, and Miami. Like, come on. Like, pay people in college football. Like, get your act together. Put this game in Lubbock where it deserves to be played so we can see the Red Raider fans actually impact the game like they should. We should see Alabama going to Indiana. We should see Miami going to Ohio State. This is so dumb. Anyways, I digress. Oregon's going to look across the field, and they will think to themselves, okay, we've seen this. We saw Indiana across the field from us. We've been in the whiteout. We've done all these things this year, whereas Texas Tech is going to look across the field, and they're going to be like, we haven't seen that yet. We have not seen that yet. Best teams they faced are BYU and Utah. The best quarterback they played was Sam Leavitt. Sam Leavitt threw for almost 320 yards and beat them.
Ooh.
So, I think that's a thing in this game. I really do.
Yep. Joel Klatt, thank you, man. Enjoy your day. Happy New Year to you. And
Happy New Year to you guys.
We'll see you at the Rose Bowl.
Yeah, you got it. Have a good one, all right, fellas? I appreciate you.
Thank you. Joel Klatt on the Shannara hotline there. We appreciate his time so much. This hour being brought to you by our friends at Champy's, world-famous fried chicken, Highway 119 in Alabaster. Sterling and the crew always bring you the 11 o'clock hour, the third hour of our show. He has for 1,100 shows now. And hopefully he does it for 1,100 more. He is the best in the business, family guy. He's created a great family at work as well at Champy's with Megan and the crew there. So many workers have been there with him for over a decade at the same location. You can experience that kind of love poured into the great food. Fried chicken, brined overnight, cooked to order, Mississippi Delta recipe, tamales, and so much more. Champy's Chicken. Champy'sChicken.com. More on all the developing news. Cam Coleman in the portal. Marcus Freeman coming back. Alabama, Indiana. Brown rejoins us on the other side. This is The Next Round, brought to you by our friends at Bud Light. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy.
Follow Dunaway on Twitter and Instagram at Jim Dunaway.
We interrupt this program for breaking news from the gators of the litigation situation. Insurance companies have a playbook. I repeat, insurance companies have a playbook. Deny, delay, defend. They know which law firms will fold and settle cheap. They are not on your side. That's corporate greed at work. At Alexander Sennara Trial Attorneys, we fight back. We have the resources, the muscle, and the will to take them on. And you don't pay a dime unless we win. They fight dirty. We fight hard. Call 659-777-7777 or hit up alexwins.law.
Physical office location, Birmingham.
Storm season is here. Make sure you have a plan of action in place right now. Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing should be your first call when storms hit. Insurance companies love working with Storm Restoration Roofing because of Greg Nelson's name and reputation in the industry. When storms hit, call Greg Nelson. He's local, 205-542-3531. He's the home of the free no-cost roof inspection. Greg from Pell City on Facebook, 205-542-3531. It's Storm Restoration Roofing.
There's only one Champy's world famous fried chicken. Poor boy's tenders, full fried chicken plates, and a little bit of the Mississippi Delta with chicken on a stick and hot tamales. On your way to or from the big game on Highway 119 in Alabaster, stop by Champy's Chicken.
Next Round shirts, Next Round hoodies, and Next Round hats are all in one place. NextRound.store. Find your favorite piece of gear from your favorite show and put it in your rotation. You never know. You might be in one of our videos showing Next Round gear being worn all over the world. Find all your favorite Next Round gear by visiting NextRound.store. Place an order for you and that big Next Round fan in your life at NextRound.store. Look your best at work, at school, at the stadium, or anywhere you go wearing Next Round gear from NextRound.store.
Hey, Lance Taylor from the Next Round to tell you about one of our favorite places for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That is Hamburger Heaven since 1982. Hamburger Heaven has been serving Birmingham's best hamburgers, cheeseburgers, French fries, hand-spun milkshakes, and sandwiches made fresh to order. All of their ingredients are fresh and prepared daily. This includes their beef, always fresh, never frozen, hand-pattied each and every day. For breakfast, lunch, or dinner, visit any of the 4 locations, Highway 280, Irondale, Gardendale, and Homewood. The beauty of the holiday is at the center of your table with the New York Butcher Shop. Their selection of USDA certified Angus prime rib roast, beef tenderloins, and fillets, as well as premium pork and lamb cuts, are the finest selections available in the market and are hand-cut just the way you want. With side dishes handmade by their professional chefs, your holiday meal is complete. Visit one of their 2 locations today, in Cahaba Heights or off Highway 119 in Greystone. Place your order today. The New York Butcher Shop. Rare quality, well-done service.
Think about the best summer nights of your life. How many of those were in a great T-shirt? Visit NextRound.store to get the perfect T-shirt for the next perfect Southern night. NextRound.store. The memories are waiting.
Hey, there's nothing worse than waking up to a plumbing problem. Don't get caught in a flooded house. Call the guys at Hemphill Services. Adam, Chad, and the team at Hemphill are the only ones I trust to fix it and fix it right the first time. Hemphill Services does it right and always at a fair price. For all of your plumbing, cooling, and heating needs, trust the name that Birmingham has trusted since 1954. That is Hemphill Services. Call now, 205-229-2090. That's 205-229-2090.
It's bow time. Tired of choosing between sweet and savory? Why not have both? Introducing Bojangles' new chicken and bowberry waffles. The bold Cajun chicken filet you love, now drizzled with a bowberry honey glaze and sandwiched between 2 warm waffles. Which means your favorite meal of the day just met your new favorite dish. And lucky for you, it's served all day. But it's only here for a limited time, so try chicken and bowberry waffles at Bojangles today. It's bow time.
Brown's back with us out in California where he's there to cover the Rose Bowl. Brooks and LT will be on site joining him tomorrow night when they both get their separate flights to get out to the West Coast. Brownie with the sun shining. Again, for Bama fans making the trip out, the weather you see on the screen with Brownie right now is not the weather you'll experience when you get there. Rainy and chilly by California's standards, including on Rose Bowl day at Pasadena. Brownie, we got several developing stories in college football. I'll bring them up to you. Brought to you by our friends at Culver's. The taste of delicious there.
That was an active half hour there as far as college football breaking news goes.
Yes.
I would have to say Culver's. Welcome to Delicious. No matter what the outcome of the game, a great place to go after the game is Culver's. You can enjoy those great butter burgers right there at Culver's. But that's not all. They have got great sides as well at Culver's. And it is a fantastic place to celebrate, win or lose. Let's just be honest about it, right? The butter burgers, the fresh frozen custard, the crispy crinkle cut fries, the gooey golden cheese curds, something for everyone in your crew to enjoy at Culver's. Win or lose, Culver's is the perfect place to celebrate these sweet memories you'll make all season long. So stop by Culver's on Tattersall Park or Stadium Trace in Birmingham. Make this game day a delicious one. Culver's, welcome to Delicious.
Of the two that broke in that half hour, Cam Coleman to the portal is the biggest story around here. I sent out Ohio State, LSU, A&M, Alabama, returning to Auburn. First couple of responses, Lane Kiffin written all over it. Brownie LT seems to think there's a scenario that puts him in Tuscaloosa, though he said last half hour if it was him, he'd go to Ohio State. What about you on Cam Coleman? If you're Cam Coleman or Cam Coleman Sr., what advice would you give the now portaled Auburn receiver?
Well, to Lance's point, Ohio State wide receivers, all they do is go to the NFL. And they all seem to be pretty good. Like, I can't, Lance, off the top of your head, can you think of one you'd call a bust from Ohio State?
I mean, look, you mentioned Garrett Wilson earlier in the show. Hasn't had quarterback play. Same with Chris Olave, although, Tyler Shuck looks to be maybe one of these guys that's going to have a much better NFL career than college career. But, Jackson Smith and Jigba has been fantastic. Marvin Harrison hasn't lived up to, Ibuka's been great this year, first year. Marvin Harrison Jr. probably hasn't lived up to the potential, but still very good. And you look at Cornell Tate, there is a good chance, although he's your second option, because Jeremiah Smith can't come out this year. Cornell Tate is probably going to be the first wide receiver off the board, probably a top 5 guy.
So that's why you would look at Ohio State, right? All they do is produce NFL receivers. Alabama is obviously, the other home state team. He picked between one of the two, and he chose Auburn. Alabama is there. It's not exactly, receivers haven't lit it up in that offense, but, he's been playing at a place where he hasn't lit it up either. So, I don't know how that factors in. The interesting thing about Lane Kiffin, as soon as he took the LSU job, there was this persistent rumor that he was trying to coax Ryan Williams away from Alabama. Obviously, given the choice, Cam Coleman's the better of the two receivers. You would take Cam Coleman. So I don't know if people just say that because it's Lane Kiffin or if it's because of that persistent rumor about Ryan Williams.
Can I just say that both of them are very good friends, and why not both if you're Lane Kiffin? I mean, it is a state that is known for its overindulgence of food. Why not eat both? Why not take both of them, Brownie? Why choose?
Well, and their overindulgence with receivers, too. I mean, last couple of years, that probably hasn't been the case, but before that, Nick Saban, what was the famous quote? You can shake a tree or something and receivers fall out in the state of Louisiana.
Shake a tree in Louisiana and receivers fall out, yeah.
But I do agree that Cam Coleman is the much better option right now.
Oh, yeah. Cam Coleman's a better receiver than Ryan Williams. And I mean, he will make somebody a better passing attack. This, and you won't lose them all, I don't guess, though maybe you will. But this portal group out of Auburn is staggering, guys. When you start to look at the names that are in the transfer portal leaving Auburn, it is a staggering list of names right now.
Yeah, and I don't know this to be true, but, sometimes you've seen where you've got one regime that's a little soft and they're not as hard on the players, and you get a new regime that comes in and, like it's our way or the highway, and some of these guys choose the highway.
Yeah, and Jim, you mentioned, and I always go back to the Jay Billis quote, when coaches used to say it's my way or the highway didn't exist, and now it does. But, Jim, you brought up again, I heard you before you went to Klatt, you brought up again this reported new approach Auburn has towards NIL, which, as I understand it, Jim, you probably know more about it than I do. It's not necessarily front-loaded deals. It is, maybe you prove your worth a little bit before you get your big deals. And this 1 + 1 may not equal 2 in this situation, but when you have a new approach and then you see a portal fill up like this, you just wonder if those two things go hand in hand, don't you?
Well, I mean, everything's a renegotiation now. I mean, we've seen that from Tuscaloosa to Eugene, from Seattle to Miami. Everything's a renegotiation now at the end of every semester. It's what drove Nick Saban out of the game, I believe.
That's right.
That everybody walks in and it's okay. This is what I made last year. How much am I making next year? So if you're reworking the deals, maybe the deal's not what you want, and you go into the portal. We always say this, though it rarely happens. First, the portal's not officially open yet. Doesn't open until January 2nd.
Right.
So these are just reports. On3's really good, though. And On3's the one reporting this. The second thing is that sometimes this is used as leverage, and a deal can get worked out, and you can end up back at the same school that you left and went into the portal. So both of those disclaimers out there. Before we get to trash, the other breaking news story is Marcus Freeman is reported to be coming back to Notre Dame. He has told the folks at Notre Dame he is not going to entertain the New York Giants or anybody from the NFL, that he'll be the Notre Dame coach in 2026. This is important for Notre Dame. It's important for college football, but it's also important for Alabama because the first name on the list, as it has been at Penn State and at Michigan, would have been Kalen DeBoer.
Of course.
It would have been.
Yeah.
It would have been.
Look, I think this is great for Notre Dame. You know, Brown, I don't know if you heard it, but Joel Klatt was talking about Notre Dame is back to what we saw in the 80s with Notre Dame. You know, the last time they won a national championship, they're that good. I mean, realistically, they should still be in this college football playoff. I don't know how much flirtation there was with the New York Giants, but I think Giants front office believed they had a really legitimate shot at getting him. But I think this is great news. I mean, we talked about how devastating it could be, not only missing the college football playoff, but then you lose what seems to be. I mean, you guys help me out. When was the last time Notre Dame had a coach like this? I mean, Lou Holtz was a good coach, but Marcus Freeman just has the potential to be one of the legendary Notre Dame coaches.
Yeah, he's yet, Brownie, to win the national championship, but he played for one. He's recruiting really well. Thought he should have been in the playoffs. He's got to get over losing a game a year that puts his playoff in jeopardy. You know, they probably are a better team than Miami is, and you know they lost at home to Texas A&M. So you lose both of those games, but in the end, they're probably a better team than Texas A&M is too.
Probably so. I think if they rematched right now, they might win both those games.
I'm talking November Notre Dame, November A&M, November Miami. I would take Notre Dame in both those games. Obviously, September went the other way. Yeah.
Yeah, if all three of those teams are in the playoffs right now and they met, Notre Dame, I think, Lance would tell you probably they're favored in both those matchups in a neutral site matchup.
Those were start number 1 and 2 for C.J. Carr, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would say this, though. Notre Dame got burned by this in the past with the Charlie Weiss deal, which was, they overreacted to a good start by Charlie Weiss, and that deal burned them. I think you ought to be close to some sort of almost lifetime type deal for Marcus Freeman. I don't know how much better it's going to get for you if you're Notre Dame than what you've got right now with Marcus Freeman. And, whether it's a lifetime deal by name or not, you lock this guy up as much as you can so he never even thinks about looking at an NFL job.
I don't know what weakness, Brown. I mean, you look at the guy. Yeah. I mean, he looks the part. Everything he says is great for Notre Dame. Yep. Last year, not only did he get to a college football playoff, he won multiple games and played for a national championship. And, this year I think everybody believes the one team that didn't get in that should have after a 10-win season was Notre Dame.
Yeah, so, I lock this guy up as much as I can. I don't want him flirting with, the Giants or whatever NFL job. If Andy Reid decides to retire and the Chiefs are like, this Marcus Freeman guy can coach. Who wouldn't want to go coach Patrick Mahomes, right, even coming off the injury? So you don't want him flirting with stuff like this. I lock this guy up. They have wandered, Jim, in the wilderness, to your point, trying to get back to this position where they finally are. And they've got a coach that checks every single box. And you're Notre freaking Dame. You ought to have all the money in the world. I make this guy the highest paid coach in college football or football period. And I make whatever it takes for him not to have the wondering eye towards the NFL. That's what I do for Marcus Freeman.
One big question coming up after trash. It is trash time here, a breakaway from sports brought to you by the great Alexander Shunnarah today, Brownie.
Alexander Shunnarah, trial attorneys. He has been operating in Birmingham, his hometown, Birmingham born, Birmingham bred. That is Alexander Shunnarah, and he's been doing it for more than 25 years. And he's built a firm now that has more than 150 attorneys, more than 500 employees. So he's a great local employer too, by the way. But he's also helping the people of his community. He's raised, he's won more than $2 billion for the people that he has served there. So whatever your legal situation is, he handles personal injury, but it is much more than that. Alexander Shunnarah, that's where you start. Shunnarah.com, Shunnarah.com.
Now, the women love you when you get out there. Why do you think that is?
What'd you say?
The women love you when you get out there.
Why is that, ladies?
Well, I'm asking you.
Huh? Because I
Why
look
do you think
good.
that is? You
I
look
smell good. I
Yes.
feel good.
And you sing good.
And make love good.
Oh, well, there we are. We don't have to ask anybody else. We got that from the source. There you are.
LT's Trash is presented by Bud Light.
Easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Our friends at Bud Light. We start first, and I have seen the teaser trailer for this. Alex Honnold has announced plans to free solo Taipei, or is it?
Taipei.
Taipei 101 in Taiwan, calling it the most ambitious urban climb of his career and confirming the ascent will be live streamed on Netflix. Now, the professional climber revealed the stunt in a post on X, saying he will attempt to climb the nearly 1,700-foot skyscraper without ropes. If I'm right, the Willis Tower / Sears Tower is like 1,100 feet.
Something like that.
Yeah, so we've got about 60 more stories on this thing. This is going to be January 23rd. He's going to do it without ropes. The climb will be broadcast live as part of Netflix event titled Skyscraper Live.
Bull crap. Without ropes, like no safety devices at all?
Yeah. I saw the teaser, Jim, during the NFL games on Christmas Day on Netflix. And, yeah, he's free climbing this thing. And Lance, how do you show that live? I mean, the guy could literally fall to his death. There's got to be a catch.
Now, this sounds bad. This is kind of like the Red Bull, the jumps we used to watch on New Year's Eve. Stop watching it because they made it every time. It's not like you want to see anybody die. Like, a Red Bull guy could wreck and pull an Evel Knievel and, break 35 bones and still be, somewhat okay. This guy falls. It's going to be an absolute mess, but there's no way that he's going to fall, right?
So this guy became famous for free climbing without any harnesses or ropes.
Yeah, it says here.
He scaled El Capitan.
Yeah, in Yosemite National Park, 2017. But scaling this, he says, long-term goal, most difficult thing he's ever done. Broadcast scheduled Friday, January 23rd, beginning at 8 p.m. Eastern. Netflix is going to handle the live production. Promotional material for the event features the tagline, 101 stories to climb, no ropes, emphasizing the scale and risk involved. So, percentages he falls and dies.
It's got to be zero. It's got to be bungees or something. They're calling it ropes, the key word there. There's got to be some kind of safety device here.
I don't know, and I guess Netflix isn't under the same rules as like an ABC or an NBC, but I don't think you could show something like that on network TV, could you, Jim?
Yeah.
And
we are going out of the country. Let me ask you, the waivers that he is signing with Netflix are when we were in the Crown Room and our exit from Jocks. Which was more paperwork?
I can't even imagine what this paperwork's going to be. But you say the network rules real quick, and I'll let you get to your point on the signature room. Was it the signature room?
The Crown Room.
It was the Crown Room.
Signature room, I'm thinking John Hancock Building in Chicago. I'm thinking Heights again. But you say that you can't have this on Netflix or network television. I saw, again, like on an ABC feed where they were high-speed chase in L.A., dude jumps the barrier and gets hit by a car right there on the air. People die all the time on live TV.
It's a good point. Now, that is like a breaking news situation. This isn't something we've set up. I don't know, man. When I saw the promo during the NFL games, I was like, this can't be real. You can't show this on TV live. I mean, there's
okay, is it without ropes? If I've got a contraption going up, one story below him with a catch net?
Yeah, that's a
great
question. That's probably what'll happen.
On Ninja Warrior, when they're climbing like the 40-foot wall, they've got like the little platform that rises as they're climbing.
Yeah.
So that way they're not falling more than 5-6 feet.
Yeah.
Would it be hard if they don't have any kind of safety harness at all? You couldn't watch it?
Can't watch it, no.
No, I'm with the Jim. I don't think I can watch that.
Yeah. By the way, how slow is it going to be?
Oh, my God, it'd take forever.
Yeah, I'll catch the highlights on SportsCenter.
Yeah, I'll see. If he makes it, I don't care. The only highlights I catch is if he falls, and I hate to admit that out loud, but that's true.
Yeah, that's right. It didn't give a time. This is going to be hours, though, right?
Oh yeah,
I would think
climb.
so. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
don't want to rush it.
Could be days, right? Like you got to camp halfway up, like you do when you're climbing a mountain.
Yeah, I don't think he'll be doing that.
Camp through?
Yeah.
I'm going to go on and say it'll get called off because wind is going to be a factor too much.
Yeah, something.
He'll tap out.
And he'll be all disappointed. They'll show him down there, and he's just, he's shaking his head.
I can go.
Nobody's
I can go.
more disappointed than Tom.
It's just 42 miles
But that's
an hour.
what they'll do. They'll show us videos of things he's done in the past. Hey, we've got a little delay. We've got to let this wind calm down. So they'll sucker us in for 3 hours of nothing.
That's right.
Yeah.
Florida man has filed a lawsuit against an
Better known
Outback.
as Jake Paul.
Yes. They have filed a lawsuit against a Outback Steakhouse in Ocala, claiming he suffered severe injuries when a toilet at the restaurant, quote, shattered and collapsed while he was using it.
Oh, wow.
Michael Green filed a complaint against Outback Steakhouse in Florida December 9th. The lawsuit stems from an incident allegedly occurred at the chain's location in Ocala on March 26th. According to the complaint, while Green was visiting the restroom, went to use the restroom. Filing states that while Green was seated on the toilet in the handicapped stall, toilet suddenly shattered and collapsed beneath him, causing him to fall. Now, I know Outback's kind of gone in the shitter a little bit, but this is kind of next level, right?
Yeah, I should point out that the picture of the toilet I've used isn't the actual Outback toilet. I couldn't find the actual toilet.
Okay.
Yeah, I would say back away from the bloomin' onion is what I would say at this point.
Lawsuit asserts that the fall resulted in, quote, severe bodily injury. Green's attorneys accuse the restaurants of negligence, alleging that the business failed to properly maintain or inspect the toilet, specifically noting a failure to, quote, ensure the toilet was secured to the floor.
Yeah.
Green is seeking damages in excess of $50,000.
That's not too much. I mean, that's a reasonable, it's not like $5 million.
That's what he should have shot for, and he probably would have got at least $50,000.
Yeah, so I'd give him 50 if the toilet fell off the hinges or broke, as the picture dictates. Anyway, the one closed near us, but because that one was never clean to me.
Oh, well, and they...
Hey.
But everywhere else, I've always enjoyed Outback.
I have too. I used to go to the one over by us all the time.
Yeah. By the way, I don't know if Lance, you may have a further update, Jim. Maybe some news about that location.
Yeah, I have not gotten a further update. Not yet.
Yeah. Okay.
Fingers crossed.
Is that possibility for us?
Well, yeah. But it's an interesting brand.
Yeah.
Oh,
place we used to like to go.
I thought it was going to be like studio for us.
Oh, no.
No.
I was about to say, we'd never get that smell out. It always smelled like shrimp on the Barbie.
Shopping mall in South China.
Because the one thing the three of us needs is a studio even closer to us.
Yeah, that would be nice. That location's great.
Because that 8-minute drive is too much. Yeah. We need it closer to us
now. Shopping mall in South China sparked online discussion in recent days after reportedly installing smart glass that switches from a milky frosted state to transparent when someone is detected smoking inside of a restroom cubicle, while simultaneously triggering an alarm warning. Now, in the male restrooms on the B1 floor of this center, warning signs posted beside toilet cubicles fitted with special glass. Sign reads, quote, smoking will make the glass transparent. Do not lose control and end up becoming an online sensation. It is also accompanied by a cartoon-style social death expression, implying that smoking inside will result in a sharp loss of personal aura points. Mall notice explains that an intelligent smoke sensing control system has been activated at the site. If smoke is detected, cubicle glass will automatically turn fully transparent with an audible alarm is triggered.
Well, this is an extreme step to stop smoking in the bathroom, but I don't know about you guys. Sachs High School, that's where everybody went to smoke, and I hated going in the bathroom and somebody had just smoked and the fog of stink of smoke is in there.
Let me tell you.
Butts are in the toilet.
Yeah, we didn't get that a lot.
Yeah, I mean, I did back when I was younger because smoking was not as it was basically Mad Men just after that. On the golf course yesterday, we're outside on a windy day. And I'm on the driving range, and the people coming off of number 9 at Ballantrae, Brownie comes driving past me, and they were not smoking, but they smelled of cigarettes. Like they were smokers. Oh, wow. I could tell just driving by. That's how sensitive my nose is to smoking. Yeah.
Wow, that's crazy. You could smell that as far away as they were.
Yeah, and they come driving by, and I looked at my buddy, and I was like, God, that's a cart full of smokers there.
I mean, there's some people, I mean, that we work with that are very, not in our company, but in our building there, back where you guys are, that are very nice people, but they go outside and smoke it. If you happen to catch an elevator with them on the way back up, I mean, it's overwhelming. And I'm like, man, I just don't know if you realize how bad that smells on you.
Yeah, you don't.
But boy, it used to be so prevalent. I mean, I'll never forget, smoking or non-smoking are first available.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
You ever take first available?
Non-smoking.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, me too.
I would.
Nah.
Me too.
It bothers me too much. I couldn't eat around it.
Finally, a cat has returned home more than 400 days after being separated from its family by Hurricane Helene in North Carolina. If your black lab came back, would you welcome it back?
Who, Jake?
Yeah.
Wow. You even remember the name. Wow, you remember the name.
You had to think for a second, though.
No. He's going to be quite old, though, Lance. I mean, this was when I was a kid, you know.
Oh, yeah.
Every dog year is 7 years, so he's about 700 now.
Well, this would be like Mr. Jingles. John Coffey touched him.
What was the black lab you and Jen had right when we first got together when you were in Hoover?
Also Jake. I was not creative with names. Both of them were Jake.
You're just going after the country song?
Yeah, feed Jake. He's been a good dog.
That's something Brown didn't do. Do you listen to the lyrics?
You had two black
fed my
labs
dog.
and you named them both Jake?
Yeah, that's how attached he is to him.
Yeah,
the other
100%.
The other one didn't know the difference. He didn't know there was a dog before him.
Surprised you didn't call it dog.
Thing one and thing two.
Yeah, Jake. Hey, Jake.
So this is a pretty crazy story, though. In late September of 2024, southeastern part of the U.S. hit by Hurricane Helene, Category 4 storm, one of the deadliest since Hurricane Katrina. Florida, North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, Tennessee, among states most affected by the storm. 1 year, over 1 year from the storm, cat named Gabby in North Carolina has finally returned to its family after being handed into a shelter. Quote, when we scanned her, we discovered she had a microchip. With a little digging, we learned she had gone missing after the hurricane 443 days ago. This according to the Avery Humane Society, their post December 14th of this year. Today, after all that time, she is finally back where she belongs, reunited with her family. Microchips are more than just a number. They are a lifeline. Gabby was reunited with the Hughes family, with one member, Peyton Marie, commenting on the Humane Society's post, quote, we are so glad to have our Gabby home.
That is trash today. By the way, very few people know this, but until LT and I gave Brown, you guys were not around for this, until LT and I gave Brown such a hard time, his second daughter was actually named Anna Kate too. But we gave him such a hard time for not changing her name that finally went with Hal.
But it is amazing.
The second new name.
We just learned that about Brown after being together all this time.
Well, that's why I thought the Hoover dog was named Jake. And when you said 700, I was like, well, it's not that long ago.
What did Jen Brown say about you naming the dog the exact same dog name that ran off before?
Well, clearly she had no issue. She knew both dogs. We were dating when I had the original Jake. And then we were married when I had Jake too.
Well, so did you guys not discuss a name, though?
I think it's underplayed on the show. Jen cares about dogs the same as Brown. They are one yoke when it comes to dogs.
She's a little more caring. Like she likes them a little more than I do.
She'll break or swerve.
But no, I mean,
she'll leave the gate open to come back.
I don't remember, Lance, if there was a deep conversation about a name. I think, like, if you find a good pet name, you just keep going with it. Jake's a great name for a dog. They've written a country song about it. Feed Jake, he's been a good dog. I mean, he was a good dog. Somebody, when he died, he wanted him still fed.
Well, I know the answer is no, but if you ever got another dog, once you guys are empty nesters, would you go back to Jake?
It depends on what kind of dog it is. It's got to be a dog that's a Jake-type dog, like Charlie. Our little Yorkie, that's not a Jake. That's a Charlie. So it depends on what the dog looks like.
Yeah.
If it's a Jake dog, yeah, I don't mind going Jake again. It's a good dog name.
But it is Jake, the Hoover Jake, the one that ran away, that got us on this whole conversation, right?
Nope. Hoover Jake, when Jennifer and I lived in Hoover, Jake was a full-grown black lab, and Anna Kate was born, and we were in a very small house. And it was just too much, so we gave him away.
You gave your dog away?
Well, yeah. Why would you not? He
Why
went to the
would you
farm.
not?
Well, I mean, he
Can't
couldn't
think of
stay
a
with
single
us.
reason.
What am I supposed to do? I gave him away. He went to the farm.
Well, he could have stayed with you.
When you say went to the farm, do you mean an actual farm, or is this a euphemism?
Yes, as far as you know, little Tyler, it is a beautiful farm. A lot of room to run.
Yeah, he has all the fields to run.
Yeah, chasing birds right now. He's chasing birds right now.
It was a normal farm. My wife knows the people. They had a pair of labs, and one of the labs died. And they have a massive farm, and one of the labs died. And we're like, well, ours, we've had a baby. We can't have everybody in this little house and this big dog and this little baby. So, that's a great place for him to go live out the rest of his life. It's like a retirement home for dogs.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean,
people are happy to go to those too.
Yeah, people put humans in retirement homes. Or they retire to Florida. They move away from their family. I mean, this was Jake retiring to Florida.
Well, that's when you can't care for the person typically.
No, there's people that retire to Florida and play golf every day.
Brown couldn't care for the dog. He had a baby. It was either
had a baby.
Yeah,
small house.
Ush, by the way, my grandfather had Boston Terriers for decades. Every boy was named Buddy. Every girl was named Lucy. Over and over.
That's right.
It's
easy
weird.
way to remember it.
Here, buddy.
Never forget the names.
Yep. Here, Lucy. That is Trash Today, brought to you by our friends at Bud Light. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy. One last big thing brought to you by Hemp Hill as well. Hey, 24 hours, 7 days a week. Hunter, one of our listeners in Huntsville during the break, he's like, I know I should have it memorized. I've got a plumbing issue happening right now. Who should I call? And I said, Hemp Hill.
Yeah, no doubt about it. 205-229-2090. That is the number that I've called when I'm in that situation. Whether you experience any plumbing, heating, cooling issues in your home or business, call Adam, Chad, Andrew, the guys there. They are ready to serve you. Hard to stop a train. For more information, hemphillservices.com.
We knew it was going to be like this, but the hard numbers came out for the television ratings for the first round of the playoffs. Big number, under what you guys thought, I believe. Yep. I think you put 15.1. I went under. 14.9 million for Alabama, Oklahoma. 14.8 million for Miami and Texas A&M, though everybody raved about those numbers. I believe they were slightly up for the playoffs.
Yeah.
Then the other two games. Tulane, Ole Miss, 6.2 million. James Madison and Oregon in prime time, 4.4 million. Brown, I'll go you first out in California. Those other two numbers, that's a problem for the playoffs, those two numbers
it's
there.
It's a massive problem. I couldn't have been more wrong, by the way. I said $17.5 million for Bama, Oklahoma, and it was well under that, which was surprising enough. But those other two numbers, those sacrificial lamb games they threw head-to-head with the NFL, that's a big problem for the playoffs, and you can't get around the fact that it was the two group of 5 games, and they were both blowouts. What was the appeal to watching them? And, I mean, that's something the playoff has to fix, because that's not sustainable numbers right there for your biggest events, and to only have that many people watching.
And that's good news for the consumer, though, because I think this is going to be another example of why we will no longer have the Group 5 included in our playoff.
Yeah, and why we'll try to continue to work with the NFL on a schedule so we're not opposite of them. That's our show today. Brownie out in California. What's the rest of your day look like, Brownie? Don't use the 3-letter word nap.
I don't know if I'll take a nap or not. I hate Pacific time because my body is screaming for lunch right now, and it's 10 o'clock. So I got to find a way to kill an hour before I can go eat lunch. After that, there is an immediate availability tonight, but it's, again, Pacific time, 7 o'clock Pacific, which makes it 9 o'clock Central. So I'm going to have that. So Brooks and Scott may have some of that out for you on social media at Next Round Live.
Yeah. What's the media availability? The arrivals?
No, it's Josh Cuevas and Damani Jackson for Alabama. And there's 2 Indiana players as well. I suspect that's because of their California ties. Cuevas is from the L.A. area, and Damani Jackson obviously has played at USC. So I'm assuming that's why they have chosen those 2 players, because of their L.A. ties. I don't know what to expect from that availability, but we'll be there and see what happens.
Yeah, that may be arrivals, Brown, which I did not check you as covering the arrival, that box.
It's at the hotel.
Okay.
It's at the team hotel.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good deal.
Hey, and we will have a Bama and Bourbon live from L.A. I've already confirmed with Aaron. We just got to figure out when and where.
Yep. Somewhere awesome. Indoors, according to the forecast.
Probably so.
Yes, that's a given.
All right. That is the show today. More from California all over our social media network at Next Round Live, at Next Round Live the rest of the day from Brownie out in California. Until next time, God bless you and God bless America.